There's so many layers and so many levels to death and why death is important. And so I just encourage everyone to think about it like a little bit. You don't have to go deep into it. I know it's scary, but like when you think about it just a little bit, or even know like what the hell you want, like you don't have to go out and make a prearrangement, but like go and tell your loved one like, hey, like I don't really like bugs, like please don't bury me, like don't let me be, I don't want to go back to the earth. I just want to be cremated, and I want you to put me on your mantle. Like, it's okay to talk about it.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Yo, what's up? This is Boho Hobo, and we welcome you all back to BINDLISM, a philosophy to a self-sufficient lifestyle. The purpose of BINDLISM is to unlock authentic perspective as we create a community of like-minded individuals who are living a self-sufficient lifestyle. A self-sufficient lifestyle is one in which a human being is activating their self-awareness to curate an authentic life that keeps them sustained mentally, emotionally, and physically in their adventure towards self-fulfillment. Boho Hobo's mission is to support a community that fosters this culture. We will be interviewing a diverse group of people, including artists, creatives, entrepreneurs, and independent thinkers to make this happen. Please join us in this journey as we explore the world and broaden our horizons with discoveries of new perspective. Thank you to everyone who is taking the time to stop by on your journey to give us a listen. We hope you enjoy, and as always, explore endlessly.
We're here with Eileen Hollis for episode 49 of BINDLISM. Eileen, if you want to introduce yourself, tell everyone a little bit about yourself, and then we can kind of get going.
My name's Eileen Hollis. I used to be a dancer, and then I turned into a funeral director, so that has been my journey, and just like navigating how to leave like a creative life and enter into death, but like in a creative way, I guess. Like I need a creative outlet.
So does your family own the funeral home? Because I saw, yes. I was looking into it a little bit before we started. So
yep. My dad owns it. My mom really has nothing to do with it. She was employed by Hollis Funeral Home for like a little bit back in the day when I was small, but
where is it located?
West Genesee and Liberty Street. So right down the street from Harrison Bakery and like Sacred Heart Basilica and like all the car dealerships, and it's a big white Victorian house with a clock in the front.
Definitely driven by that. Yeah.
Yep, but I grew up there, like very like My Girl, 6 Feet Under vibes. Grew up upstairs, and then the downstairs is the funeral home.
What was that like growing up in a funeral home?
Really fun and curious, and like lots of seances, and my dad was always there, which was great. So he could work and have like calling hours downstairs, then he could rush upstairs and have dinner with us to like still make it like a family thing, and go back downstairs and like come up and tuck me into bed. And even when he was working on the computer, he would take like moments to chase me and my friends around like the house, and so it was really fun and really like mysterious and a really good time. And we used to do like, I used to sneak down there in tutus during calling hours and like go up to people and be like, sorry for your loss, like as a little toddler, or like 5 or whatever.
Yeah.
But
that's very interesting.
Yeah, so death is how we kind of got connected to do this podcast. So very excited to talk about death.
Yeah.
If you're open to it.
Very open.
I mean,
to
I would.
Are you open to it?
I was gonna say I would assume you're somewhat of an expert in death.
I've only been in it for I've been working with my dad for 6 years. I've been a licensed funeral director for almost 3 years, so I'm kind of still like a baby. Like, you know, in True Blood when Jessica's like the baby vampire, I'm like a baby funeral director. I'm still like fumbly and like awkward, and but we're doing it. So yeah, let's talk about death.
Do you think you're, well, just a quick question before that,
Yeah.
do you think you're going to end up taking over the
Yes.
full? Oh, okay.
Yeah, that is the goal. I was in New York dancing, like modern dance, all that stuff, and then I moved back for love, and then
Which is who you're still with, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Neil, he works at Mellow Velo.
Nice.
Oh, nice. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Shout out.
Yeah. Shout out to my boo. But what was I saying? I can't even remember.
Oh, about taking over the...
Oh yeah, so I'm gonna take over the funeral home. Like, I never really understood what my dad did. I just kind of like roamed the funeral home, and I was like, okay, like he hosts like parties downstairs. I don't really understand, but like went around my daily life. And then when I shadowed him coming back from New York City, I just was like, oh, so this is what you do. It's so much different from like what I thought it was, and you really work closely with people, and it's not just about the dead people. It's like, you know, guiding families and giving them tools to find closure. So
yeah, I feel like
cool.
Funerals are more about the people that are still living,
yeah,
more
definitely.
so than the person that had passed away.
Yep.
Even though it is, but
Yep.
it's
Yeah.
consoling.
But because I was a dancer and because I like moved home, I was having like conflicting feelings when I started working funerals, because like my husband Neil, like he knew that I was gonna do it. Like he was like, this is what I think you were made to do. And then my mom was like, okay, well if you're gonna do this, like you should go to school now. Like what, like why are you waiting? And I'm like, because I'm scared to like start a new journey. Like I was all I knew was like dancing and like the creative world, and I didn't know like really what I wanted to do. And then this like came at me. I was like, I need to know that it's real. Like I don't want to stay, like I don't want to start something and then be like, oh, this was a fad, and then like leave.
Right.
But really, like, it's such a legacy, like, I just want to carry on my dad's legacy. And if I were to see, like, the funeral home, like, building itself, like, crumble, like, one of those, one of the houses on, like, Syracuse history, I would be absolutely devastated. So it's, like, there's a lot of different, like, little reasons why I'm in it, so...
So your dad started the funeral home, or has it been longer than that?
It was a funeral home before he got into it. It was, well, actually, it was a private residence where Laura Geddes, like, actually lived there. They all owned, like, property down to the New York State Fair. Like, they
just bought a bunch of
owned
land.
the New York, they started the New York State Fair. And then it was a doctor's office. And then it was Bordinsky Funeral Home. And then in the 70s, my dad kind of partnered with him and then ended up taking it over. And he's been there for 40 years, and he's been a funeral director for a little bit longer than that. So I got a friggin' ways to go.
Yeah, you're definitely young in this then.
You do. This tea's really good, by the way.
Thank you.
Did you put what is it?
This
Honey?
No. It's agave.
Ooh,
Agave.
yeah. I really like agave.
Yeah, agave. I like it better
It's
than
vegan
honey.
too. If that.
And it doesn't
changes anything.
it doesn't exploit the bees.
Yeah.
I love the bees.
Yeah, we. Anyone listening to this, you better like the bees, because
Save the
without
bees.
them, we don't exist.
We don't exist.
Little
love
fun
the
fact.
bees.
So, why don't you explain like what a day in the life of a funeral director looks like?
Well, it depends. It's very unpredictable. Like, I go like a couple of weeks at a time without doing anything, which is, you know, kind of nice because then I can just be a dork and like bedazzle things and like get my like creative flow like out and like do Dreamland and like all of those things. But when I'm working, my dad usually calls me in the morning. He goes, "Hello, my darling." Like, he's such a weirdo. And I'm like, "Hello, Dad." And he's like, "Okay, just to let you know, like, you have to do this embalming, and then this service is happening." So then you go through, like, the motions of that. And so for my dad, like, we've been kind of dividing and conquering. He has more of, like, the muscle, I guess, for removals. So just depends on where you are. You could, you know, die in a facility, maybe like a nursing home, a hospital, like, or you can pass away at home. And each of these passings require different things. So you have to go within an hour to pick them up, or however long, like the family might hang out there for a second, which I think is a good thing, because, I mean, you don't get to, like, you don't see death, really, you know? I don't even really see, like, death, and then so when like, your family passes away, it's okay to just, like, sit there for a second and just, like, be with them, and then we'll come through, make the removal. I will come in my ridiculous, like, PPE. If you ever, like, come across a picture of that, it's ridiculous. And I'll do, like, the embalming process, and then dress them the next day in their clothes and apply their makeup and do their hair, and then we'll just do, like, calling hours if they want that. It's weird because everyone wants something different, and really, like, I've never come across a funeral that's like two in the same.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Which makes the work a little bit more varied for you.
Keeps,
and like
yeah.
Do you like that side of it, that it's different?
I love that it keeps me on my toes. I just wish that it was a little more predictable, like, in my schedule, because it sucks when you have to be like, hey, like, I'm gonna go to this, like, dance party, I'm gonna go do this thing, I'm gonna go away and do this, and then you just can't, and you have to drop what you're doing and, like, you know, go take care of the family, and, like, they're the most important. So yeah, you just got to be flexible. Definitely. It was hard. It was really hard at first, and the downtime that you have sometimes, you know, we're only one funeral home, so we don't have multiple locations, so we're not, like, crazy running around, like, all the time. And so if we have a week off, like, that used to be really hard on me, like, to see Neil go and, like, work at Mellow, like, all the time, and then I'm just home and I'm, like, watching the midnight gospel, and I'm just like, what'd you do today? I just watched TV and, like, did things, like, I don't know.
Hung out.
Yeah, it just gave my brain a break.
So how has it been during all of the current events happening, like with COVID and everything? How does that affect a funeral home?
It goes back and forth. It was really stressful, like, to start off. More stressful just thinking about how the families have to get through this. Like, I'm not worried about us per se, but the fact that they have to be alone in their grief, and they could not, like,
have families.
Yeah, they couldn't hang out with their family and, like, see their grandchildren, and, like, all these people that are, like, spread out across the way, they can't come. So that was really hard, and I felt so terribly for those people. But everyone has been amazing, and, you know, nobody gave us, like, a hard time about it. They were flexible, and they, like, knew they had to come in, like, right off the bat with masks, and they knew it's, like, 10 people per private visitation, I guess, because we're not like doing calling hours or anything like that.
Right.
We're just doing just private, like immediate family, and then now we're just starting to have like funeral masses, like memorial masses for these people that passed away, so more people can like come and hang out.
I'm curious, so like you said, this is kind of the path that you chose and wanted to pursue. Like what originally kind of interested you into did you have
funeral directing?
Yeah.
Well, before I moved home, I watched 6 Feet Under for the first time. This was like in 2013, for the first time ever, and I was just really fascinated by that, but I don't think that was the reason. I think it's just that I saw what my dad actually did, and I was like, whoa, like, I don't know how you have, like, the mind or the body to do this sort of thing, and I was very like insecure about it, but just like seeing how everybody like respects him so much, I just could not let his legacy go through, because like he actually sold the business to a corporation. It was called SCI, and they worked him like a dog, and like he lost so much business, so much. Like calls cut way down, like not even half, like more than half.
Oh, wow.
And it was just a lot to get it back. Like he didn't think any of us would want to go into it. Like my sister is a dancer / like burlesque performer in New York. My brother, like, he works at the downtown library. He's not like, he doesn't want anything to do with like this profession. And I don't know, I just think that I've always really loved, I love people, and I love like, I just find humans like really fascinating, and just like their stories and stuff. So to be able to connect with them and to just help them along, I felt like that was kind of like very natural for me, and somewhat of a calling, but I don't even know if I would even say that quite yet. I'm still a baby in it, so yeah.
So how much time do you think your dad has left in working, or do you think he's just gonna work till like the day he's I can't do this anymore?
We talk about this a lot. Like he always jokes that I'm gonna just kick him down the stairs.
Jeez.
Yeah, he's like, I'm gonna be like, what's his number? I think it's like 98 or something. He's like, that's when I'm gonna pass away, and you're just gonna kick me down the stairs. And I'm like, no, I'm not gonna do that. But so we'll see. He's turning 70 in August, so
Wow.
yeah.
And how old are you?
I'm 31.
Okay.
Yeah. He's so silly. He's just like a funny little bald man from from Flushing, Queens. Has an accent, very lovable. Can be very fiery if you cross him, but working with him is the best and the worst sometimes. Like, because we are like father and daughter, we can want to strangle each other
Of course,
sometimes,
yeah.
but like we forgive each other in like 2 seconds.
Yeah.
Like,
Unconditional.
yeah.
Yeah.
There was one time we got really mad at each other. I don't even remember what it was, but I was like, I'm not gonna answer your phone call, and I like ignored him, and he sent me like a bitmoji that was like, I'm sorry, like I effed up or something like that. So
yeah, I guess that is better to, because like when it's family, that whole like, if you get in like an argument or whatever, that it always sets back in like, we're family.
Yeah.
Like, it's fine. But when it's like a boss in you, like that resentment can like come into play.
And it's like, I can give him a little more shit because he's my dad.
Yeah.
So I feel very comfortable with him. Like, he says I'm his clone. I'm like, I'm not, but...
You're like, no, Dad.
I'm like, I'm
You're
very
my
much
clone.
my mom, too. I was like, I am and I'm not. He's ridiculous.
So I wasn't a
Yes.
part of your conversation that like led to you getting invited on.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Did you
yeah.
guys like want to like talk? I mean, I guess like
Sure.
bring some context into that.
Yeah. We'll see how this goes.
Well, you were watching Midnight Gospel.
Yes!
Great
my-
show.
Yeah, and Caitlin Doty, who does Ask a Mortician, has like the YouTube channel and everything. Like, you guys should check her out. She's friggin' amazing. She's death in it. And it's
Oh,
just,
that
I've
episode,
never
okay.
seen a show.
It's not the one with the like hippo.
She's the
ones,
Grim
right?
Reaper.
Oh,
the Grim Reaper
okay.
With the
one,
weird eyeball.
where he like makes her like be like a random
Yeah.
shape, and he's like,
Yeah.
hey, you shouldn't make me like just like that. But
Let's simplify this
yeah.
a little bit. I love that weird like hippopotamus one. That
They're all
Those were like
honestly
the
so
two
good.
big ones talking about death. I
yeah,
think.
yeah. I mean and then like the last episode with his mom.
That one hit me hard.
Because she had breast cancer and she passed away, so it was a really beautiful episode to like see her growing younger in this animation and him growing older.
Yeah.
And it was just beautiful, and her just expressing like how she feels about everything, and she seemed like pretty calm about things, and then she was just kind of giving him the tools to process like this whole illness and like the impermanence of life, and just gave her tools to help him like cope with it, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, that episode is beautiful.
I really like that episode because I feel like a lot of people don't get that when someone close to them is gonna pass, even if it's someone who has something like cancer where it's a long process until that eventually happens, but she was just like so in tune with like everything that was gonna happen, and I just was like, wow, like how can someone even have those thoughts so just like in line? She just knew.
It's because when you're faced with this scary illness and like these scary circumstances and you're so close to death, like how do you even find peace in that? And that's something that I've been thinking about a lot recently, and a lot last summer. Like my mom's sister passed away from cancer, and like that was the close. I mean, Neil's brother also passed away, and those were the two times I've ever been like the closest to death, I think. Just to see like, even talking about it gives me like little butterflies, but like to see like how heavily like they're breathing, and like then you face your fear of like, this is gonna happen to me, and like how, and like you can't worry about like how and when, and it's just like, I hear that, I don't know if it was like in Buddhism or like whatever, I'm not a philosopher, but I heard that someone said the key to happiness is realizing your impermanence, or just impermanence in general, and
That you live on forever kind of thing? Or
not even like that you're just not gonna be here, like everything
At
is
least in this
temporary.
reality.
I guess that's how I like interpreted it, but
Yeah. It's
what does
kind of,
even impermanence mean in this?
you're
kind of
like, you're not permanent.
impermanent. Okay.
Yeah. Like your physical, like you being like Kyle
Yeah.
Fisk in this human form, like that's impermanent.
So
Yeah.
coming to terms with the acceptance of death.
Yep.
Yes.
Exactly.
And just being like appreciative of the fact that you were even like alive in the first place.
Right.
like the be in the present, you know. So it's crazy because, and it's not crazy, but it's like people, this is one of the most important things, and it's a fact of life, but nobody wants to confront it. Like I have so many friends that like, you know, like I have a Hollis Funeral Home Instagram, and like so many of my friends that are really close friends of mine like do not follow it, and I don't even like, I don't care, and like I'm not gonna push this on like anyone, because like you have to want to learn about it, and you have to want to be okay with it. So I'm just like, I'm here when you need me. If you want to talk about anything, like I'm here.
Yeah.
But
same thing we've realized with like personal development kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Is like you can't force that.
No.
All it does is create like this ego struggle, I think, that people like resent it.
In order to,
it's so subconscious.
in order to teach something like that, and in order to learn something like that, the subject, the person who would be receiving that information needs to be like ready to accept the information.
Yeah, I mean, because you just have all these ideas like floating around, and it gets a lot, and you can get really in there and like start digging, and like to bring out some of these like monsters that you have is overwhelming, and like, who wants to really do that right now? But at like this point, I'm ready to talk about like literally anything. Like the past 3 months have made me so comfortable, like more comfortable talking to people, and like have made me more present in like my brain, because I'm a scatterbrain, and I could like, like I think they talk about in the Midnight Gospel where you can like be talking to someone and then you're like drifting off, your mind's over here, and you're not like, present.
Yeah.
So I've been working on that, and I've been working on shedding the ego.
How have you been practicing this?
Shedding the ego?
Yeah.
I get like, it's weird because I'm not a control freak, I don't think, but when I'm in the workspace, I am a control freak, and like, and I've been so self-conscious that when my dad, like starting off, when my dad dies, like, how are people going to take me? Like, will they respect me the same way that they respect my dad? Like, I didn't ever, starting off, I didn't really wear my name tag, and my dad would be like, "You gotta wear your name tag," and I'm like, I'm not wearing it, because I didn't know, like, some people would just like whatever, and then when they would, like, my dad would be like, "And that's my charming daughter," and they'd be like, "Oh my god, that's your daughter," but they, like, don't treat you, like, they're like, whatever. So it was like a social experiment, kind of, but that was, like, also my ego, and I was like, I need to just fucking chill, like, just let yourself be great, and, like, don't even think about it, like, I don't know.
Don't care about.
You're talking about, like, the status of, or respect.
Yeah, and, like, don't, it's, like, not a competition with my dad or anything, and, which it's not, but, like, he will, like, hover over me and stuff, so I'm, like, trying to, like, unpack his, like, control freakness, and then my control freakness, and I'm trying to, like, help us to, like, work together in a good way. But we work really well together. I feel like I'm, like, being really dramatic about it. Like, I love my dad, everyone!
So,
I was gonna say, I
always do this.
I had a question. What part about death specifically most fascinates you?
Definitely, like, the whole restorative art aspect of it. Like, someone comes into you, they're looking real rough, and real raw, like, mouth hanging open, like, eyes just, like, staring, and then you have the power to bring them back to who they were. Like, they might be, like, a little scruffy, and maybe they had, like, a traumatic, like, accident, or, like, lots of bruising on their face or something like that, and then you have the tools and the makeup to totally restore their appearance and to give family closure. And I just really like the satisfaction of making someone like themselves again. So
It's
especially
an interesting
now.
way to look at it. Like,
Yeah.
it is an art form.
Yeah.
Truly.
How long did it take you to get comfortable doing that?
Not too long, actually, like, weirdly. When I went to mortuary school, I was extremely nervous to do gross anatomy because we had anatomical donations, or like cadavers, and we were all assigned like one anatomical donation to like 5 people, and our anatomy teacher would be like, okay, so this class we're going to take off like the dermis or whatever, and then we'd like go through each like layer of the human body, and like, you know, I've seen like where babies are born and like all of these.
You could probably do surgery.
I've held a brain, like I've seen the effects of like smoking and cancer and all of these things, and I just, lots of times I'm like, maybe I want to be anatomically donated, because it's such a like selfless and just really educational, like for everyone, and then your memory is like out there forever, whether or not they realize it, like medical students and stuff, like that information just keeps getting passed down, so that person just lives on in science, which is cool.
How do they preserve the bodies for those like activities?
For anatomical, they embalm them with, I can't remember the chemical name, damn it.
Not formaldehyde.
It's more like intense than formaldehyde. Oh, I can't remember.
Is it just like longer lasting, I guess?
Yeah, because they keep their body for around a year.
This is in the embalming process?
This
This for the
is
school?
Yeah, for anatomical gift program, or like for medical students and stuff like that.
To like learn
Yeah.
parts of the body in like physical form.
Yeah. In embalming though, we do use formaldehyde.
Okay.
Yeah.
What's the most dangerous part of this job?
Probably the formaldehyde, I think. Yeah. I mean, those chemicals are really intense, and for the first year I wasn't wearing a face shield, I wasn't wearing my respirator, I just had like a smock on, my scrubs, I had goggles on, but then like the smell of formaldehyde can just, you know, you get a drop of like cavity fluid, what we put in their tummies, if you get a drop of that on like the embalming table or anything, it's just, it fumes, and it's like, you're just like, oh my god, my eyes. And so I just started wearing like a respirator so I can't smell it, and a face shield just so if anything like sprays out, I'm safe and it wouldn't get in my eyes. And yeah, so
it sounds like you learned pretty quick to adapt to that.
Yeah. The other scariest thing though is like, for me, is the act of getting a casket like to the graveside. Like if it's just a very limited amount of people, like me, my dad, and maybe like the hearse driver or something, it's like so scary.
Super heavy.
Yeah. Other scary for me is funeral processions, which is so stupid to be afraid of, but like leading all of those cars, like that's just an anxiety for me. I don't know. It's like
Because
kind of
are you
stupid.
driving the hearse? Or there's a hearse driver, you're just in the car?
There is. I'm just in my dad's car, but he's the lead car. So, you know, I'm more scared of, like, what if I go down a dead end? Like, what if there's construction, like, everywhere and I can't, like, find my way out and I just have, like, 50 cars behind me? Just, like...
Game over.
Ah! And they're like, I'm never going to that little twerp again. So, there's real fears and there's irrational fears, and I have them all. So.
I mean, granted, like, the position you're in, you do have, like, a lot of responsibilities, so I could totally understand those thought processes.
Yeah, I will say that this pandemic, that has given me so much confidence, because this is a pandemic. Like, this is the worst it's gonna get, I feel like, and...
The worst is yet to come.
Yeah.
Hopefully not.
The worst is that what's gonna happen? I'm just gonna die. Like, but
this is a good time for everyone to think about death.
it is. Nobody wants to think about it though.
Yeah. It would.
It's
It
just
definitely
looming.
would make things easier
It's
for
there.
everyone.
Although that's a lie, because I now have a TikTok and I have a shtick. So I, like, gathered up, like, people that were interested in this, like, pretty fast, and they all have amazing questions, and I'm like, and so many people are like, I want to be a funeral director, like, how do I do
cool.
this? And it's cool to just be like, here's what you need to do.
That's the cool thing about social media, is
Yeah.
it's like, it exposes you to things that you probably wouldn't be exposed to if it wasn't there.
Yes.
It's inspiring.
Because, like, something like being a mortician,
Yeah.
like, people weren't reading up on 20 years ago.
People don't know what the hell I do. Like, they're like, a mortician, is that... Oh, you're a funeral director? Is that the same thing as a mortician? Like, how do you embalm? Like, obviously, like, I didn't even know how to embalm. Like 10 years ago, honestly, I was like, where does the blood come out of? Like, your butt? Like, I have no idea. How do you embalm? But, so many good questions.
One question, like, do you ever get exposure to the person before they pass away in this process?
Like, in life?
Yeah, like...
Like, knowing them as, like, I know you right now?
Like, when the whole thing is set up and you're directing the funeral, do you ever meet them before they pass away to, like, transition to...
Oh, like, in... Like in their place of death,
if
almost?
they know that they're gonna die soon, and
Yeah.
they're like...
Like, if they're at their deathbed at the hospital, let's say, and you go to them and say, this is going to be the process, like...
No, I haven't done that. I mean, we took care of Neil's brother's services, and, you know, I went there and I saw him, but he was already, like, so close to death that, like, I don't think he knew that I was there, and, like, my aunt, you know, I'm there for family, but I'm just, like, I don't feel like they really want to see me. You know?
I feel like that would be kind of morbid for someone who's about to die to be like, oh, I'm talking to the person who's going to take care of my dead
Grim
body.
Reaper.
Yeah. It's like they get to know me in life, so my dad has a quote, like, the funerals home's motto is, like, the friends we serve is the foundation to our progress, and, like, so we've just met a lot of people in life, and they just get to know us, and they know that we're not, like, creepy. And
yeah, I feel like there's that stigma for sure.
Yeah, there is a stigma, and that's what I'm trying to break, because I'm not, like, I keep my work life and my personal, I try to, very separate, like, try and keep them very separate, because I don't really, I wouldn't say that I identify as a funeral director, or, like, with the stereotype of a funeral director. I'm just me, who was a dancer, who's a dork, who just wants to, like, support her friends and, you know, lift them up and make sure they're doing good things, and you know, just live life. So
I feel like that's a healthy way to approach it.
yeah,
Because I feel like...
I need balance.
If, let's say, you have a work, like, you're police officer and you define yourself as a police officer, then it kind of like detaches you from who you are.
Yeah.
And now it's like you
You're
become this
just
separate
walking around
entity.
as
Yeah.
a
Yep.
police officer.
Instead
yeah,
it's like-
I fully embody
There's just no way to
this.
turn it off, kind of thing.
And then those are probably the police officers that get into trouble.
Yeah, probably.
So,
What is your relations with other funeral directors and things like that?
good. Like, I mean, I really respect every funeral director in the city of Syracuse. I really love the Ferones. Like, my dad did his apprenticeship with, I think with the Ferones, or it was like Mr. Butler. I don't know. But he has connections to the Ferones, so I really like them. They have kids my age that are in it now, and they're really cool. So I'm excited to like work with them in the future. A lot of that, it's just very like male dominated. So I've been like insecure. I was insecure for like a little bit with how like I would be perceived, but at this point I'm just like I'm not gonna think about that. And like I'm not too competitive, like like I am competitive in some senses, but not really. And I don't care like how many calls your funeral home is doing, as long as you're providing a service, and like a meaningful service, and you mean it, and you're not being like sketchy and sus. And so, and it seems like everyone's pretty much like cool. So there's this one funeral director from Tyndall, Mike Carlson, and I really like him. And his wife is a burlesque dancer in Syracuse. Her name's Erotica. She's really cool.
Does she know your sister?
Yeah, she does.
Oh,
My
okay.
sister actually came here and performed around the holidays. So
Cool.
yeah.
That is.
Yeah,
pretty
so
cool. So there's like a little community,
yeah, I
kind
mean,
of.
like, they don't really talk, like, we don't really,
like
like,
actively.
yeah, we're not like, hey, let's go out, like, for coffee and, like, let's be best friends. But I know I really respect, like, our funeral community, and I hope to just be, like, unproblematic, even though I'm, like, on TikTok just blowing up, like, the secrets of the funeral home.
So your TikTok is specifically about like the life, like day in the life kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean, like, there's some cats on there, and like there's some stupid, like, you know, dance videos and stuff, but for the most part it's just like people have questions, I answer them. I'll like maybe show like some instruments that we use and like what we would use them for, like how to close a mouth, or just like talk about it. Never like showing like a human body or anything like that. If something doesn't feel right in my gut, I'm not gonna share it like at all. But
do you see themes, like common themes, as far as like what people are asking? You said people will ask you a lot of questions.
Oh yeah,
about what you do.
Everyone wants to know if the funeral home is haunted.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah.
Is it?
There were a couple of spots in the funeral home that made me feel uncomfortable, and even to this day it kind of makes me feel uncomfortable, but and we've had an uncomfortable spot. There's this couch that I just get like really weird feelings from, and actually like a few years ago someone was like, you need to get that couch exercised, and I was like,
You're like,
what?
I've been thinking that for a while.
Yeah. Ugh, crazy. But
is it just an extremely old couch or something?
It came with a house.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if it's truly haunted though, and I feel like if it were haunted, then these spirits are nice, and that they're like maybe helping me or in some way, because they haven't like effed with me or anything. And
what are your beliefs on it, like in ghosts and spirits and
I think
stuff?
that there is like another dimension probably where like I feel like, have you ever seen the movie A Christmas Carol? Like an old one, like 1952, Alistair Sim. There's this one scene when Jacob Marley appears to Scrooge and he's like lamenting and just being really like, you gotta fix yourself, Scrooge. And then they look out the window and he's like, look here. And there's a homeless woman, or like just a woman who's probably homeless. She's just like rocking a baby and like just, you know, outside just rocking this child. And then there's all of these spirits like around her, like wanting to help her and like throwing money at her and like crying and like woe is me. And I feel like spirits are just around us mainly. That's what I think.
Yeah, it's a very interesting like side to like death. Is just the spiritual energy and like where that goes or where it lives kind of thing. Do you think that energy, I just thought of this myself, but like just now, do you think that the spiritual energy lives within the human body while you're physically alive, or is it always a part of that dimension and your physical body ties it to the physical dimension?
Oh, I really think that the spirit, like, that's interesting. I really think that the spirit must like live inside of you, or at least that's what I feel. And then, or maybe it's just because I watch too much like TV, but I feel like when you die and like you let out your last breath, then like your spirit self like exits.
Like in Harry Potter.
Yeah.
And,
yeah.
What is that?
The Dementors.
Dementors, yeah.
They just suck your soul out.
Yeah, I think that your spirit like exits your body and it just goes like into
the ether.
Yeah. Into another. Was that in Midnight Gospel?
Into ether? I'm not sure.
That
Something
phrase or that
just
imagery?
like that idea like of the spirit coming out of your body.
I don't remember if there was something like that.
I don't think it was.
And what I said, like, I don't know if I necessarily believe that. It was just like a thought. I was like, I wonder if people think that, because
Yeah, I think it could be that way.
Because people talk a lot about how they're like, I've definitely been alive many lives. Like this is not my first life here. And because they have these like coincidences that happen in their life where they're like, it's weird that I've never met this person, but the connection we have makes it feel as if we had like had a past life where we were friends or something.
I mean, at this point, I feel like anything is possible.
I mean, aliens are real, so
yeah.
Like...
yeah, I don't know, and I think that's like the other scary part about death and why nobody wants to really face it, because like we don't know what happens like afterwards, and that's really scary. And then that's like kind of why we have religion, like to just give us some peace of mind, and or at least that's religious? What I think. I grew up in a Catholic school, and like Sacred Heart Basilica Church, but I'm spiritual, but I wouldn't say that I'm like a Catholic or anything like that. I respect like every form of religion, and like if people are into astrology, like I respect that. Whatever like brings you peace of mind and like some guidance, like why shit on that? Like if you're like a witch, like the witching hour and stuff like that, if that's like what you're into, and that helps you to be a better person, like then okay.
Yeah, I think that's a really great mindset to have. I wish more people had that mindset.
Yeah.
Like, not that it affects me personally, because I mean, I also grew up Roman Catholic, but I don't really like subscribe. Yeah. But at the same time, I feel like it's a waste of energy for me to go out of my way to tell people that what they believe in is not real.
Yeah, like, why would you be a Karen about it? Like,
Yeah.
I just don't understand, like, Karens in general. It's like, just mind your business.
Yeah.
Like, I just saw, like, a Karen, like, going off about how somebody wasn't speaking English, and it's just like, were you involved in this conversation? Like, take a seat. Like, go eat, like, a scone and a mochaccino, like, somewhere. Like, what is happening?
It's like they have nothing better to do than involve themselves in a negative way.
Yeah.
They just got a lot of resentments, I think.
I know.
A lot of insecurity being projected onto people.
Yep. It's ridiculous.
That's what it is. Projection. For sure.
Not a fan.
Yeah, I'm not a fan. I'm just like, let people do what they want to do, unless it's like really hurting someone and it's like fucked up, then.
Well, the fucked up thing is, well, not fucked up, is they're probably hurting so bad that they have to like take it out, that energy in some way.
And so this is like why humans freaking fascinate me. It's like, how did you get to this place? Like why are you who hurt you? Like, why are you so upset? Like, how did you get to this place? Like, how did it fester, this festery? Like, let's unpack this and figure it out why. And
well, that's the whole problem with like racism, you know, what we're going through right now, the Black Lives Movement.
It's just a bunch of people who are insecure. Fighting back against people who literally had no choice to be born into a very ideal situation.
People cannot wrap their heads around it. And I'm like, this is just, it just should be second nature, like, to you. Like, I don't even know, like, how to make you understand, person. Like,
there's just not enough empathy.
No.
In like the human psyche, in general.
Not enough empathy, and too big of egos.
Yeah.
I don't fuck with it.
And I think certain like society structures create that. Like capitalism definitely creates a huge ego just because of the nature of competition. It's like competition first, like humanity second kind of mentality. Whereas like other places, they're like, oh wow, they're so great. It's like, because they don't run on capitalism.
I don't understand like the whole competition thing. I don't understand why we can't just like allow each other to be good at like what we do and like, you know, lift everyone up and hippy dippy shit. But
everyone has to push each other down to get to the top,
like
kind of thing.
Why if someone's like doing good things, why do you have to push them so far away? Like, I don't know. It's weird.
And at the same time, if that person's that good, then they're gonna end up rising up anyway. So you don't need to push people down, or you don't need to like.
Right, like why couldn't Teen Hearts just reach out to Celine and be like, hey,
you're good, let's put you on a pedestal. You know?
Exactly.
Instead of taking,
especially due to like what's going on right now. Now would have been even better time to do that than
I know.
You know?
It's like, support like small black-owned businesses. What don't you understand?
They're
like,
tone deaf.
Yeah, they are. And it's,
at least in that instance, they're
it's
tone
sad
deaf.
to see.
Yeah.
Honestly.
But they're not the only company doing shit like that. You know? It's just people are not creative enough. But capitalism, right?
Yeah.
It's like, why reinvent the wheel? I can just steal that idea that's not copywritten or something and then just like rip it off. And if you have enough clout, you can just rip anything off.
You can do it better.
Yeah. It's like, why don't you make something original?
I know.
And then maybe people will like you more.
Yeah.
Stop trying to be, it's like keeping up with the Joneses.
Do anything for clout. Like, I don't even know.
And that's why I like what we do, because what we do is very just unique to us, and we're not trying to rip people off.
We don't really have anything like you guys in Syracuse, you know? Like, I mean, we have like a couple of podcasts and stuff, but no, you guys are super chill. Like, I know I said I was like a little bit anxious at first, but I don't feel anxious at all anymore. I feel very comfortable talking to you guys.
You get that a lot. Like, I mean, when we first started interviewing people, there's definitely that sense of unease, at least for me, even though I'm very much an extrovert and I like talking to people, but it's that talking to someone I've never talked to before kind of feeling. You're like, I don't know how this is going to go, but after doing almost 50 interviews, you know, it's just like, it's going to be good.
Another interview. And then you learn about, like, someone else, and they learn about you, and then, you know, we build this community, and it's really fucking cool.
Yeah.
I think.
And it's interesting because even when we've interviewed people, like, people we interview somehow have, like, a, like, 2 people away connection from someone else we interviewed. And they may not know that person we interviewed, but, like, people they know that person. It's just, like, the network is very real.
Yeah, other than, like, my girlfriends and, like Mike Haggerty and, like, you know, those people, like, other than that, I don't really know, like, anyone else on there. And I was just blown away that these people are in our city, in our community, and
they're in the woodwork.
That's kind of
cool.
like
There's a bunch of hidden gems.
Like, when we started this, it was really to kind of talk to, like, up and coming creatives, entrepreneurs and stuff, but then it's kind of just turned into just, like, I mean, not everyone on the show has been a local to Syracuse, but a lot of them are, just from the area, just due to, like, convenience factor.
Yeah.
But it's kind of turned into this, like, it's almost like a log of just different people in the area that if someone out there who's just, like, bored one day might, like, stumble upon the podcast and be like, holy crap, there's, like, all this cool shit happening in Syracuse.
Yeah, because there is.
Yeah, and it's, like, it's kind of interesting that we're probably, like, the only ones doing it as actively. Like, yes, radio shows and stuff will have, like, a singer or something come on, but it's, like, we're talking to... you work at a funeral home. Now we're talking to someone who owns, like, a restaurant. Yeah. And then, like, it's just super expansive.
I mean, like, you gotta get David Haas on here from Syracuse History. Like,
I've met. We both met him. He's very
the
cool.
shit. We've worked together a lot. On and off, like at Oakwood Cemetery and stuff. Like decorating for Christmas. Like we. Did a memorial service for a veteran and stuff that had an unmarked grave, you know, like over 100 years old and stuff. And he's just really cool, and he brings life to these old houses and Syracuse's history. Yeah. I mean, like, I've never been so into history, and he has a big part of that, and, like, why I love our city so much.
Yeah.
So,
his what he brings to the table is definitely, I think more cities need things like that.
Yeah. They
someone who's just dedicated to, like, going around and bringing to life. And honestly, I think it's making a lot of people care a lot more about the structures that are still, like, standing in Syracuse. I mean, so I actually hit him up about this building because I feel like the Gear Factory is very much a gem of Syracuse that a lot of people don't even realize is, like they know this building exists, but they don't know what it is.
It's so much.
And Rick, who owns the building, he has tons of resources about the history of this building and, like, what it was at one time.
Yeah.
And the hardware store next door has like a bird's eye, I think it was an aerial shot of the west side back in, like, the 20s or 30s, probably the 30s more. But I mean, across the street there was, like, an 8-story factory building.
Yes.
There was Fowler High School is a massive complex.
Yep.
Like, all these buildings are just gone.
Onondaga was, like, popping off. Like, that was, like, the place to be, and And then you just, like, see how, like, these buildings are deteriorating, and it's so sad.
Mm-hmm.
But hopefully, like, we can get them back up, and I'm glad that, like, businesses are, like, trying to, like, move in and, like, do all of that.
Yeah.
Have you been to the abandoned building up the street, like right up on the hill over here?
Oh, the insane asylum, or what? I shouldn't call it the
Wait,
the
like the firehouse?
No. So next to the building is Fowler High School.
Yeah.
Up behind it, up on the hill, there's the old like developmental center for basically for people who had like mental illness.
Oh, whoa.
And so it's massive.
Holy crap, I didn't know that.
So don't call the police on me because I'm not the only person who's done this.
No one will.
It's been abandoned for a while. It's kind of been like it. So basically, it was bought by, I want to say a rabbi out in California who runs this kind of like campus. It's like religious, but also for like youth. And he bought this supposedly to be an East Coast campus of what he was doing. And it fell through. So like this building has just been like in disrepair, but it's really cool. Like it's got a bowling alley in it. It's got an Olympic-sized pool.
Oh my God.
A full gym, like everything. But I mean, at this point, it would take a lot of work to make it like worthwhile. But anyways, you can like go into the building. Like you can just walk right into the gym.
Cool.
So
I
like
want to do that.
like, we
Let's
went,
go after this.
Like we walked around it thinking like, oh, we probably can't get into this building. It looks like boarded up.
Yeah.
And then we just saw a bunch of kids like on the roof, and we're like, how'd you get up there? And they're like, oh yeah, there's a window. Just walk through the window.
What?
I was like, all right, this is cool. But yeah, like there's shit like that. There's definitely that's not the only building in Syracuse that has that going for it right now.
Yeah.
What I do like about his channel is that he'll show the house and all the the rooms and stuff, but then he'll say how much it's going for and how much the renovations are estimated to be, so that if you are actually like in the business of trying to like flip a house or something, like why not flip these kind of houses, you know?
Exactly.
Are they cheap?
Yeah, dude, dude, he just showed like a massive like mansion somewhere that's just like been it needs a lot of work. $5,000 and then $120,000 in renovations. I mean, granted, like New York State property like cost, that thing's gonna be worth bank.
Yeah.
And it's gonna be beautiful. Like
yeah.
Let's get it.
I know. Make it the Bindle house.
Like all the houses right in this area, in this like corridor on South Geddes Street, you can buy them for like $1.
Really? Oh, I didn't know that.
Like the Rick who owns the building, he bought his house down there for like $1.
Yeah, his house is so cute.
And
I
he
love
just decked it out.
His little girls are awesome.
Yeah.
They're really fun.
And he was like, yeah, I've just been telling all my friends, just buy a house on this lot, fix it up, and we're just going to like slowly gentrify an area that actually needs it.
Yeah.
For once.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
Excuse me.
Steve and Sarah from who own Mellow Velo, they're married. They have a sweet little girl named Marcy. She's really fun. But they lived on the same street as Rick.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
They had like one of those weird like futuristic homes.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of cool structures in this area. I mean, shit, at one point we had like 200,000 plus people living in the city of Syracuse, so there's plenty of abandoned houses that are unfortunately
everyone move here, get a house and come here.
Like, that's the thing, it's like this would be
why not? This
would be like house flipping paradise, but I feel like people don't even consider Syracuse.
They don't, and I hope that they do, because apparently we're like third on the list for like best place to live after coronavirus. So,
while also being like 10th most impoverished.
Yeah, and
something like that.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully that fixes itself over time. I really have faith in this city. Just seeing how it, in my lifetime, like what it was when I was born in '95 till now, like.
So you grew up here?
Yeah, we
Nice.
both grew up just north of Liverpool.
Oh,
Yeah.
nice.
So, and my dad worked at SU for most of my childhood, so I was in the city a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, granted, as a little kid, I wasn't like necessarily super up to date on like the happenings, but I did know that there was like a lot of issues happening in the city during that time.
Yeah.
And I feel like that was kind of like the butt end of things getting to like the lowest it could get. And now we're starting to see this like revitalization of the city.
And like so much of it is like a push from us younger like
Yeah.
kids.
It's like the creative community here is really banding together.
Yeah.
Even if we don't all know each other, we like collectively
here.
we all know someone in the community
Oh,
that
yeah.
ties it together.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, it's incredible. I mean, even you, like, you're 31 and you're planning on taking over a funeral home that's been a funeral home in Syracuse for a very long time,
Yeah.
and you want to keep that going.
And
Like,
it's
we
terrifying.
need things like that.
It's terrifying, but it's like I'm so committed to it that it's just like this is like my destiny. I can't like there's no backing down from it, and I don't want to. Like I've never been like so sure of like something in my life. So besides like marrying my husband.
Mm-hmm.
But
like you know what I'm saying, like in the sense that yes, people don't necessarily think about funeral homes every day, but people definitely drive by your funeral home, and if they saw that abandoned one day, they'd probably be like, what happened?
Yeah, okay, so our clock is like kind of a landmark for finding the funeral home. And it was out of commission for like a year. Like the time was just like messed up. We had like a windstorm that like pretty much like dropped our clock, or it was like hanging on by a chain.
Jeez.
So like there had to be like a little cherry picker and like, you know, take the clock down. It was gone for like 6 months, and every day my dad had someone calling him like, where's the clock? Like, are you guys closed? Like, what's happening? And we're like, no, we're still here.
We're just fixing it.
Such a stress. I was like, Dad, we gotta fix it now.
Yeah. That's funny. Speaking of clocks, in Clinton Square, next to the Bank of America building, there's the building, I don't know what the name of it is, but it has a clock on the top. And that used to actually be, I only Syracuse history know this, that it used to be the clock for the entire city. Like, that was the clock that they would go by.
Yeah.
And it has been out of commission for like 50 years or some shit. Like,
Get it up and running. It's hard to fix those clocks.
It's just that people aren't skilled in that work anymore.
It's true.
And it's sad.
It took so long. I mean, our clock truly isn't even fixed yet. Like, there's a tiny little mechanism, like one little part that we're waiting on, and it's just like taken forever because of like the virus and everything like that. So
no one's like manufacturing that stuff anymore.
No.
Yeah, you gotta
digital.
You gotta dig, or you gotta find someone who will make it custom kind of thing.
Yeah. We were switching over to like an LED light and like everything, and
That's very interesting, mixing like very old technology with updated technology at the same time.
I mean, like, I don't know how old the clock is. I think it's just like probably 40 years old, but even that is like old.
Yeah, it's still
so
some time.
No, as far as like you taking over, and do you have any like visions for what you kind of see this funeral home becoming if you were to have the full responsibility to do?
I'm gonna keep it, like, you know, I want to stay true to, like, what my dad does, but I want to be a little more open-minded. Like, I mean, he's very open-minded, and, but I want to make it, like, a safe place for like, transgender people, and, because they can get, you know, misgendered in death, if your family is not on board, like, with that. I feel very passionately about that. I would hate to see, like, any of our friends to,
Get put on the wayside kind of thing.
Yeah, and, like, you identify as a man and then you're dressed in a dress. Like, it's just not right. Yeah. So, stuff like that. I want to be more open-minded about, like, more, like, back to the earth, simple funerals, homes, more like home funerals, I guess, which could be interesting, but more simple, like, and getting creative. So, like, let's say you wanted to do, like, a Viking funeral or something like that. Obviously, we can't, like, make a pyre and burn you up, like, on a lake or something like that. So, like, maybe we could cremate you and, like, get a replica of, like, a Viking ship or something.
Like, small.
Yeah, and before you're cremated, we could have, like, a nice, like, your cremation container, but, like, put, like, sheets over it, and, like, your body can be there, and your family can, like, have all these rituals and put, like, flowers around there, make it more like Viking. That's, like, what they did, and sent you off with, like, coins and, like, stuff like that, and then you can be cremated, and then your ashes can be put in the boat, and then we can put you in the lake and set the boat on fire, and then you have, like, a mini Viking funeral. Like, I just want to add more creativeness into it, because really, like...
Is that a new thing, too, to the industry?
Creativity?
Yeah, to this kind of...
I don't think so. Maybe new to this part of...
Because, like, when I think of it, I think of very, like, traditionalist.
Yeah.
Like, funeral director, like, very, like...
Yeah, like,
boxy
let's
kind of
go
feel.
to the funeral home, and let's go, like, have 3 hours of calling hours, and let's go to church, and let's, like, go through all these motions. I'm more interested in celebrating a life, and obviously it's, like, whatever this family wants. If you want to be traditional, you have every right to be traditional, but you don't need our funeral home at all. Like, I mean, you need us to carry out tasks, but you don't need to have a service in our funeral home. You don't need to have a service in a church. You don't need to do any of that. You can be cremated. You could have a barbecue outside, like, with your friends. Like, you could set off fireworks. Like, you could do whatever the heck you want. So I just want people to really do what they want to do.
Based on, like, the current structure, what is, like, the most interesting service that you've had to carry out for a family?
Interesting? I really, really love the Russian Orthodox funerals. They're very traditional, but they're beautiful, and they're all in a completely different, language. And the music is just beautiful. It's just a beautiful experience. So I'm drawn to that. Well, the church St. Mary's is on Tecumseh, on the east side, and they have just this small little church, and it's totally, like, encrusted in like gold relics and stuff like that, and it's just small and beautiful and covered in candles. Have you seen, like, Romeo plus Juliet with Leo DiCaprio?
Yeah.
Like, in the end, when Juliet dies and they're at their funeral, it's just, like, candles everywhere. It's like that in the church on Tecumseh, except for that the candles are handmade by them, or, like, they're not monks. The mercenaries, just, like, the people learning to, like, become, like, a priest or, like, whatever. they make like all these candles and stuff from like bees, and it's so cool, and it smells so good, and it's just like sensory overload. I just really like it. And the harmonies, like there's no everything's a cappella.
That's
and
cool.
Sometimes there's only 2 people singing, but it sounds like there's like 10 people singing, and it's beautiful. So
I'm sure the acoustics are pretty interesting.
yeah. Our services though, like they're pretty cut and dry. But there's just lots of beautiful little moments, and we actually get to travel quite a bit too. Like last week we were in Connecticut. Like we go to Brooklyn like a couple times a year to transport a body to a funeral home like over there.
So you'll like connect with a different funeral home if someone dies here and they need to be.
Yep.
Got it.
And they need to be brought to New York, or some people like want to be shipped out to like Poland or wherever.
Would you have to like bring them to the airport or something like that?
So that's why we'll go and drop off. We'll transport the body to this funeral home, and they take care of like all of the airline stuff like that. So we'll get all our ducks in a row on this end, like complete all the paperwork, and then he'll take care of like the rest of it. And
that's interesting. I didn't, because I knew that that bodies do get like flown to different places. Do they just put the body in a casket and under the hull of the plane?
I don't know precisely where. I think it's like a whole separate flight. It must be like
a special plane.
It must be
some sort
a special plane. It's funny because like even I don't know the ins and outs of like what happens, but
that's pretty interesting.
Yeah,
I feel like that would be a cool like aspect of the industry to be involved in.
Yeah, well, so there was like this a couple of years ago, a veteran passed away who was to be buried. He made a pre-arrangement like years ago, and so Dad like woke me up one morning. He was like, "Okay, like on Thursday morning we're going to Arlington National Cemetery," and I'm like, "Whoa, okay." I had like 2 days. That's cool. And we go there. We did it all in one day. We drove all the way there, saw this amazing service. It's like unbelievable how organized it is, and how beautifully like they tend to the grounds. Like
Arlington is
it's
amazing.
Gorgeous.
Yeah. Have you been, Kyle?
Mm-mm.
It's cool.
It's like the biggest funeral cemetery you've ever seen. But not only the biggest, like the most like well kept.
Organized. Yeah. Like so
it's
organized.
So aesthetically pleasing for something that's supposed to be like not pleasing to the
Yeah. Have you guys have you explored any cemeteries in Syracuse?
Actually, like right next to Thorndon, that cemetery is beautiful.
The
with,
Oakwood?
like, the rolling hills, and they have like the paved paths and everything.
Yeah.
It's so nice.
Oakwood Cemetery is my favorite.
Yeah, that has a ton of history.
Yeah. It's fun to skate too.
That one's cool.
Yeah, my dad used to take me sledding there when I was little.
I've spent a decent amount of time so we went to Phoenix High School, and there's the cemetery in Phoenix that we used to like run through and stuff for like track and field.
Yeah.
So that one's not like super well kept.
You guys go way back.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I mean, we've
childhood.
lived in the same like neighborhood since we were in like first grade or something.
That's so cute.
So I'm trying to think of any other cemeteries around here.
Even before
I've definitely been to Oakwood though.
Yeah, Oakwood is amazing, and there's tons of like little deers like sleeping by monuments, and just like the architecture of those monuments, and the trees are really pretty, and the fact that like cemeteries were the original like recreational parks before recreational parks were a thing. Like the Victorians used to like go there and have picnics and all of that. I love that people still go to Oakwood to like have a picnic or like read a book, like a little Hobbit, and I just think it's really cute. I love Oakwood.
Do people still get buried in Oakwood, or is it kind of like, okay,
All the
I wasn't
time.
sure if...
I would love to be buried there if Neil were to ever bury my ashes, for sure. I want to be put in a disco ball.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah.
That is sick. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've definitely thought, so this is a cool topic. Like, what do you want to do when you die? I've explored it a little bit only because I like stumbled on information randomly, but a few that I was interested in, one specifically was to be cremated and then turn into artificial coral.
Oh,
to
yeah!
be like transplanted into like the coral reefs and stuff.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
That shit is so cool. Like,
Oh, I love that. Yeah, a
Gotta
part
help
of
the
me
fish.
is like I love mermaids. Every year I go to the mermaid parade in Coney Island, and it's like
cool.
Mardi Gras kind of, but it's to bring in the summer solstice, and I just would love to be like brought back to the ocean, but like I don't really go to the ocean, so I feel like the worst mermaid ever. But I don't really
The
go to the
land maid.
ocean, so. But I love sparkles, and I love disco, and I just think it would be cool to have like a disco ball urn somehow.
Maybe you can make the casket into like a mermaid.
Yeah, I could put like little mermaid stickers
Yeah.
or something, or someone could paint it.
Imagine
I don't
just
want to be buried.
being
I don't.
cremated and then put into a disco ball that's hanging like in an actual like
No, you don't have
discotheque.
to. Don't hate me, but like you can put me like on a stand, like in a window, and I'm obsessed with light and like finding light in the house. Like I love prisms and reflecting, like seeing the rainbows is like really satisfying to me, and I love like when the disco ball like reflects. Like I have some on my porch at home, and I have a disco ball planter, and I have little disco balls like everywhere because I just love the sparkles.
Yeah.
They make me happy. So
Do you ever
wherever
go
I
to or did you go to Mike Haggerty had the roller, was it
yeah,
called roller buffet?
yeah,
or
yeah, I
something?
was there for sure.
Super cool.
Yeah, I'm so excited to do another one eventually.
Yeah, I know, right?
Oh wait, did you put it on with him?
No.
Oh.
No, that's his thing. I don't like really put anything on really. Like Dreamland is Ryland's baby, but like she asked if, you know, Celine and I would want to be on like the dream team as she calls it, and
help like create
help
things.
like decorate the space and stuff. I didn't do like the first few, but then when we went to Wonder Bar, like that's when we started like calling in like reinforcements, and it's so fun, and it's so important for like my brain to just be able to like get creative.
Oh yeah,
and
Yeah.
definitely.
use my hands. And,
So, well, I was gonna ask this. So I know, like, it's obvious that working the funeral home definitely takes a lot of your time.
yeah.
What do you do? I mean, similar to what you were just saying, to kind of get after your creative outlet. Like, what are some of your creative outlets?
I dance like a fool, like all around the house, and sometimes I'll like put it on my story. Recently I haven't been because I just feel like I don't know if it's the right time to like dance around and like be happy, but I'm doing it. Like best believe that I'm there being a fool, and I find events like, you know, Mermaid Parade where I can like create a costume. I really love that. I think it's so satisfying
kinda
to
like
just
a
be a
cosplay.
freak. Yeah, I
Yeah.
can be like naked, and I don't think that anyone nobody over there will judge me, and if people find me, then I just don't care because it's like that's my body, whatever. But Dreamland's really helpful. Music is everything. Music like makes me the happiest, like through all this year. I've just been listening to music like every single day, and in the embalming room, and when I'm like running around, it keeps me it keeps me happy and it keeps me focused. So music is very important.
This kind of ties in. You like briefly mentioned it earlier in the conversation, but you talked about how like you have had all these like thoughts running through your head or whatever, but like you're becoming more mindful, like being more present.
Yeah.
Like, just to get more like idea of what you've been doing with that. Just I think that's helpful for anyone who's listening as far as like mindfulness.
First I would say watch Midnight Gospel, and like I just think that, you know, all these hard conversations we're having with people, and that's like that pretty much like started my like, okay, you have to be present and you have to like stay focused. But Midnight Gospel, like just listening to their insights about life, I think that really helped me put things into perspective. And I know that I can be on like my phone a lot and just be like so glued to it, and I just have to like disconnect, and because then I feel like if I'm on it too much, like my brain turns into mush, and I'm, you know, not focusing on people, and I'm just focusing on this like stupid little thing, you know. So
Do you meditate at all?
Not really. Like I really don't. Dancing was my meditation for so long.
And that's so true. Like, you don't have to sit there to meditate. Like, it could be in all forms.
Yeah. Okay, so then actually, when you put it that way, yeah, I guess I do. Because my greatest therapy right now and my greatest place where I, like, get clarity is when I'm gardening.
Ooh,
yeah.
So good.
And I didn't realize how badly I needed that. And especially when my aunt was dying and I was just in the garden, and like little creatures would pop out, like I would see a frog, and like, you know, and I was like, it's a sign. And then like hummingbirds like came down like moments later, like on my thistle, and it's like, that's a sign. And like I just kept like picking up all these little things, and I was just thinking so much, and it was just nice to like get your hands dirty. And
I feel like that's a good prompt just for like for future podcasts. Is just, what is your meditation? Not do you meditate, but what is your meditation?
What brings you peace, I guess.
Because now that we just said that, like I wasn't even thinking about things that I do in my life that could be considered. Because everyone's like, maybe you should take some time to like meditate or something, and I'm thinking like, oh, do I have to like listen to like a guided meditation for it to to be legit? And I don't think so.
Not at all.
Like
I think whatever gets you in that
like
flow state.
For me, it's like
flow state.
For me, it's like skiing, and now disc golf is getting me like that.
Hell yeah.
Like
roller skating.
Randomness, like you just find these things and it just clicks.
Yep.
You're like, I don't know why it makes me feel this way, but it does. Yeah. And I'm going to follow that.
And hang on to it.
Yeah, because it's hard to find.
Yeah, it really is. Roller skating has been, like, I'm not very good yet, but I'm getting better and working, like, a little bit at a time. It's, it just feels so good to get out there and, like, feel a little off balance, and like you have to center yourself and like think about what your body is doing, but also to be like, relax, don't look down, like look forward. Such a like
it's I think that's interesting. It's certain practices that require a lot of mindfulness in order to like do well.
Yeah.
And I think that takes a lot of, you know, mindfulness is like you're like working your brain out.
Yeah.
Because you're thinking about, like, for example, rollerblading or skiing. Like, there's a lot of different moving parts happening, and you have to be very calculated if you don't want to like eat it. You know.
Yeah.
So, and that like meant over time, once you get it to become like second nature, that's when that like full blown flow state comes in, because you're
relax.
It's just This is like, I'm floating.
I guess I'm just, I'm learning to relax.
I think it's like meditation is like whatever kind of gets you in the state of mind where you lose track of time.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
It's just like you're present at that moment.
Like this, like podcasting. Yeah. That's definitely a flow state type thing. Because whenever I'm done, I'm like, wow.
I just 3 hours went by.
Yeah. Like it's like Igor said, it's like a portal.
It is like a portal. I mean, it friggin' looks like a portal too. Like,
yeah, I'm really tricking
cool.
this room out. It's just like you come in here, we're going on a little trip, and then
it's like starting.
Oh, I can't wait for that thing. That thing's gonna be like 5 feet tall.
It's
just
cute.
a little guy.
I like that little guy.
It was funny that you said gardening because like I'm
Yeah.
starting to slowly acquire plants.
Oh my god.
And it's like the greatest.
Dude, I have to give you some plant clippings once they can like I have to get them a little bit longer before.
Yeah.
But I have so many pothos, like the ones that you could like
hell yes.
string across here.
Super cool.
And oh my god,
Yeah.
like I go back and forth up and down Geddes like 5 times a day, and I always look at the gear factory and I'm like, man, if I lived there, I would have so many plants. Just so many plants.
Do you move in?
I could move it. No.
When I moved here, I was here for, I think it wasn't until like late February and March before I had that plant.
He's cute.
Which was in a very smaller pot, and I finally took care of it and put it in a bigger pot, and now it's like happy.
Yeah.
But then I got these 2 more, and I was like, I need more plants.
And Christmas cactuses or Christmas cacti, they will flower.
Oh yeah.
But I have my grandma's a clipping from my grandma's, and it took forever for it to like develop, and it still hasn't flowered. But my mom says you have to like leave it in one place, and it needs a certain amount of like light and darkness, and then it'll flower. So
yeah,
maybe your crystal will like help.
Yeah, I don't know. So my mom just split that. She actually had 2 Christmas cactus plants that she split because they were too big.
Yeah.
So I don't know which one it is, but she said one gives like reddish pink flowers and the other gives white flowers. So it'll just be a surprise one day when it flowers, and I'm like, holy crap.
And the day that it flowers is going to be so lovely.
Oh, like even this. So this is a Japanese holly tree. It's a sky pencil, so it has
of space to grow.
So it has it already has like the berries on there, but as it grows, I believe they will start to actually form color.
Hell yeah.
So even that will be exciting. This guy though, it doesn't do anything. I mean, it looks red sometimes, and it looks
what
green
is
sometimes.
it?
I don't
go
know.
look at it.
I honestly have no idea what plant it is. Like we picked it up at like
I'm gonna
Lowe's
show
or
everyone
Walmart or something. But I like.
He's like a Dracana or something.
Sorry. I chill with my plant. Him specifically. Him, her, it.
They, them.
They. What's the correct pronoun for a plant? I don't know.
Do they have a name?
Not really. I haven't really named any of my plants. But I do talk to my plants. Like I'll go up to him a lot and be like, "You look so happy," and like run my fingers through him softly.
Little happy spiky baby.
Yeah, I mean, I have a picture. Actually, I can pull it up. When I first got the plant, and it was dinky.
Maybe its name is
Dinky.
If you couldn't tell, I am obsessed with house plants. Also, yeah, very obsessed.
So this was when.
Oh my god!
So you
just
can
a wee
tell
babe.
that like it's seen a lot of progress
Little
over
baby.
Oh wow.
the. Yeah.
Kind of reminds me of like
I'm gonna show it to the put it on the record. Just a little guy. Yeah, came in just one of those little cups, and then.
That's so cute. Have you guys been to Found Things?
Found Things.
Oh my god! You guys have to go. It's a local plant shop, and it opened up like last year sometime. It's on James Street.
Oh, okay. So someone I work with told me to go there.
Oh yeah.
So.
Oh yeah.
Go
It
there and
is.
Get some plants.
It is heaven. It's
they have like all the
heaven.
plant supplies too.
Yeah, they have pots and little like different hangers. Like there was a oil lamp, like a cast iron oil lamp holder, and then she had a plant on it, so I bought that because I was like,
I definitely would like to put like hooks on like the corners here and have hanging plants. I like the idea of like getting like the more vine like plants.
Those will grow. You have so much light.
This guy though, I actually think I need to get, what I want to get is a stand in this corner that I can get the whole planter up higher, because in the morning the sun beams straight through on this part of the wall, and I was like, how do I get you up there?
Yeah, seriously. Get like...
I'll probably just build something.
Yeah, you could find something. Go to like the Salvation Army and find something.
Yeah. I just need like a table or something.
You need like just another one of those.
Yeah, basically.
Or you could get something with like a round base with a pole that comes up, and then another round base.
I'll figure something out.
Yeah, you could make something good. You made this, like, God.
I know. What am I talking about? I got a fucking loft in here.
I know. You could literally put your plant like right there.
Yeah.
Up on the loft.
That's what's fun though. Like being here it's just like a playground.
It's so cool because it kind of reminds me of like a dorm, but not really. Like apartments, and you're like living that New York City life, but there's like community spaces and stuff, so that's what makes me like. It
definitely gives that like New York City vibe. Like when I'm in this building, I don't feel like I'm in Syracuse.
Yeah.
You go in this like different realm, and then you come out and you're like, oh wow, I'm on the west side of Syracuse.
I always felt like Syracuse is kind of like a little Brooklyn or something. After like living there for a couple of years, I came home, I was like, you know what, like Syracuse is adorable, and there's no rats and there's no cockroaches.
It's definitely cleaner,
and I don't have to pay up the ass like to get to work, and
no traffic.
I do enjoy
drive,
that, the lack of traffic.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Except for like
so good.
Driving from like Liverpool to the Dome for like a Syracuse sporting event, that's the worst.
That's just hell.
But that's like.
But that's New York City every day.
It's like, but if that's the worst it gets for a basketball game, like once every couple weeks, I can handle that. Granted, now living here, I can just take all the back roads to get to the Dome, and I don't have to worry about 81.
Yeah.
But yeah, I do agree. Like,
all that being said, though, like, New York is amazing, and I still feel like I could have lived there like longer, but it's just one of the most like magical places, and one of the meanest bitches ever. Like, so mean.
Yeah, that's a big reason why I mean I've only been to New York City I think 2 or 3 times in my life, and by saying I've been there like briefly, like, but something about that, the mean side of it is just, I could tell being there, I was like, it's cool, but this is not my vibe at all.
Yeah.
And
it's one of those things though I feel like everyone should experience.
Maybe not full-blown live
right
there,
right it's just a moment of time.
Living there, like, I was fresh out of college, like I went there and I was so like, what's my next move, like so worried about what I was gonna do like with my life, and I should have never even worried about it, because I did something that was 1,000% like, I did not think that I would go down this path. So, yeah, you should just...
I've heard that multiple times from people. Like, people go to New York City to, like, try to find themselves, but then it just, like, it's distracting.
Yeah.
Because there's so much noise.
It can be, but I also liked the noise, too. Like, New York City was really fun, and, like, I spent a lot of time, like, alone. Like, I had roommates, and, like, I would go on these adventures, and I had, like, friends and, like, people, but then there were, like, so many times where I just, like, would go off on my own and, like, explore the city, and go to my sister's burlesque shows and like just sit there by myself and like watch people like artfully strip, you know, and make friends with like the bartenders and like the people running like the joint and stuff. And it was just really cool to just like be my own person and nobody knows you, and that's really fun. And you could like
be someone else every day.
You could be someone else every day. I wasn't, but it's too much. It's too exhausting.
Yeah.
No, I'm not interested in being other people. Like, I'm inspired by a lot of people, and movies, but I'm just trying to be me at this point.
And who is that?
Just a little morbid weirdo. I don't know who she is.
I don't think anyone really knows.
I know.
We're all just trying to figure it out.
Just trying to figure it out.
So I know that the topic of like death has been
Looming.
a theme here.
Yep.
What do you want people to know about death? Like, if you could tell everyone something that
you're not gonna, I mean, it's just gonna take time to get into it and to think about it. Don't run from it. That only makes it harder. And it's okay to talk about it, and talking about these things, like with everything that we've been talking about this year, it's okay to be comfortable with the uncomfortable and kind of like do some research and explore it. The more you explore it, the more comfortable you're going to get with it, and the happier you'll be. I feel happier, like, now that I've like explored death a little bit, and like it's not that hard to talk about. It's just like the thinking about you not being here is a hard thing. So
yeah, it definitely is.
it's a hard thing to ponder, and like that we're just going to be history someday, and like, will anyone remember us? I don't know, but that's like why I have this Instagram right now, and like I want to find like these people in history and bring them to life. Like, people didn't know about this like one tattooed lady like completely covered in tattoo in the Victorian era, and like, you know, there's just so many people have so many stories, and they weren't like that different from us really. And yeah.
Have you ever seen Coco? That movie?
Oh my god.
Have you?
That's how I think about it, though.
Yeah.
Like, oh my god, Coco, like, makes me, I want to cry right now thinking about it. It is beautiful. It's beautiful. And that's how I feel, like, honor your dead. Like, I think that's what I want them to, honor your dead, damn it. Like, don't just brush them aside. Like, talk about them. Like, the memory, the life of the dead lives in the memory of the living. So we got to bring them out, and, like, and, you know, they say, like, the first time you die, it's when you die your physical death, and then the second time is when your story stops being shared.
Cease to exist.
Yeah, and then you cease to exist. So that's very much, like, whatever.
Maybe that's heaven. Like, maybe heaven's not this place that we go to, but it's the soul that lives within all of us that we kind of, like, bring back. So it's like if my mother passed away, it's like us talking about her
brings
like,
her back for her.
Yeah,
that's exactly
it, kind of.
how, that's what I think about. Yep. Totally. That's like my whole mission is just like, don't forget your dead, remember your dead. Like, you know, Ryland's dad passed away when she was really young, and he was really young, and seeing her share like all of her pictures of her dad, and like to see how similar like they look and stuff is just really a beautiful thing. And so it's like, and I wouldn't know what he looked like if it wasn't for her sharing that. And You just have to have mad respect for the dead, and that's the thing. Just have mad respect.
And even
celebrate them.
And even if you don't share the stories, they still like live on genetically through you, and then you kind of like emanate this persona or personality that's been passed down for ages.
Yeah, and there's people that one of the questions on the death certificate that we have to fill out is like, what's your
mother's death certificate? Such a that phrase,
like a birth certificate, death certificate. Like, what's the name?
Participation award for dying.
Yeah. What was like your grandmother's maiden name? So many people don't know that, and it's like even those little things. It's like figure it out. Like go on Ancestry. Like Ancestry is crazy. Like there's so many people that I just was like, whoa, we have family in England. Like we had family in Australia. Like oh my god,
I haven't even
Italy, everywhere. Like it's just you think about like how connected you guys are, and like am I like any of these ancestors of mine? Like did they shape me into who I am? Are we like similar in any way? I think about that a lot too.
I think because I think there's a big push or of interest in like the ancestry of the world, getting to know more about like your heritage and everything. And I think that back then it was a lot harder for people to leave their mark on the world where that people would remember them. And now think about this.
Wild.
Like we're gonna have tons more podcasts, you know, like you're gonna have your videos and your Instagram, like things that people can be like, yeah, this was my grandma, or this was my like great great grandpa or something, and like listen to this thing.
It's cool. There's a lot to like.
It changes everything.
There's so many layers and so many levels to death and why death is important, and so I just encourage everyone to think about it like a little bit. You don't have to go deep into it. I know it's scary, but like when you think about it just a little bit, or even know like what the hell you want, like you don't have to go out and make a pre-arrangement, but like go and tell your loved one like, hey, like I don't really like bugs, like please don't bury me, like don't let me be, you know, I don't want to go back to the earth. I just want to be cremated, and I want you to put me on your mantle. Like, it's okay to talk about it.
What you were talking about, like, something popped in my head, but what if, like, the future of the graveyard is in the digital space? Like, social media is the next gen of graveyards.
Well, Facebook is already kind of like that.
It's so weird.
Facebook is literally like a giant population of just dead people's profiles.
Yeah. Holy frick! I didn't even
and it's like
think about
those profiles
that.
just live on.
Wow.
I can go back and look at my grandpa's profile that he had. The last thing he posted in like 2012, but I can like read all the things he was posting up to that point.
Whoa! I didn't even think about it in that way.
And it's like, oh, that was like a thought he had someday. Interesting. And that's the thing. So now it's not just like, oh, this was my grandpa, my great grandpa's house or something, and that's the only memory you have. It's like you can literally read something that they wrote. You can see
their pictures, like
a
their
status
life.
Update. You know,
Yeah.
went to the beach to have a picnic.
That's really wild.
Like it's like way more detailed,
and it's only gonna get more detailed.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
There's people still in my phone that like I can't delete them like out of there yet. Like, you know, I'm just like hanging on to it. Yeah, it's weird how they can just there's like little tributes everywhere. Yeah. Whoa, I didn't even think about it.
So the technology changes everything.
Technology is
definitely just
wild. I love it. I mean, I love technology. I love the internet. I also think it's like the worst.
Yeah, it's like a scary but awesome thing.
Yeah, but I guess there's two sides to like everything, so a lot of things are scary.
Yeah, I think at the end of the day, it's like it depends on how you use it, really, and like
definitely,
it seems like we are all collectively using it for something positive, and maybe not intentionally when we started it, but it's kind of like we're creating something to be remembered by.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. I mean, I don't expect for anyone to remember me, but like I hope that like at least like my great grandchildren will try and like pass me on, or I think that like every generation like gets back into like ancestry and stuff like that too. Like lots of people think that our younger generation like just doesn't care about anything like this, or like having homes, or like doing any of this traditional stuff, but like we really do. And we've shaped our city in such like strong ways.
Yeah. I have it's funny that the generation that, well, the last couple generations, you know, you got the very old people and the people who are about to be old. Mm-hmm. They have such a like distorted view of what like the millennial or even the next generation is, and they think like, oh, they're the spawn of Satan, they're so bad, blah blah blah, and it's like
they're just
it's
bad.
Yeah, I was gonna say like you're projecting on us right now.
Yeah, you literally are.
One, we're not even in power to do anything to fully at the time. You know, like now we're starting to slowly get into areas where like people our age are becoming mayors and politicians. You get people like AOC who's like out on the Senate floor like she's kicking ass like. That's the future, and like, and I see a lot of progressive mindset in our generation, the next generation. So like, I think we're gonna see a lot of like really, hopefully, some really like cool change.
Yeah, and I just hope like when we get older, we aren't just like shitting on the younger generation too.
I would like for that to stop too.
I would like for that to stop, and I'm very much like just let people be their own people. And
I think it's kind of like a traditional mindset where it's like respect your elders, they know more than you, blah blah blah. But I think our generation realizes a lot more than the past, that you can learn a shit ton from people that are a lot younger than you.
Yeah, absolutely.
And
everyone has a story to tell.
Yeah,
so.
And I feel like if we stop with like the whole ageism thing and just respect people for just being people.
New York taught me that. I didn't know like anyone's age there really.
True.
And yeah, when I was struggling to just like figure out who I was or what I was doing, I would see all these older people who were just like really fabulous or like a hot fucking mess, and you're just like, okay, like we don't have to have it all figured out. Like people are going to be figuring this out for lifetimes, and even when they think they have it figured out, there's going to be like a monkey wrench thrown into your daily routine, and you're going to have to come up with a new daily routine. And it's just like you have to just be flexible and can't worry about it all. But like that's so hard. I worry about everything all the time.
I don't think there's anyone who has a life where it's just so just like figured out that you can just go on auto drive, because that would suck.
Yeah.
In my opinion, if things were just just a flat line just forever, plateau where just there's no more development happening. You're just like, I don't need to change anything. It's just perfect.
Might as well die.
Yeah. Like isn't that I feel like the whole point of life is
it's a journey.
You're just exploring, and shit's gonna happen to you, and you just adapt and grow and
make mistakes.
Yeah.
Learn from the mistakes.
I used to get so stressed out by mistakes and like thinking that I need to be perfect, and then I'm just like in my profession, and then I'm like, no, like it's okay to like make mistakes. That's how I've learned. And it's just like those major mistakes, I'm never gonna do them again. Like that's, or at least I'm gonna try not to do them again. Like
Or you do, but you live on.
You get the experience, and
Or perfect example. So this piece of art above my my computer, the star one. So the frame of that was made by accident. Not the physical like form of the frame, but the how it looks.
Yeah, I love it.
happy mistakes.
Burned it?
So sometimes you learn from a mistake and it actually ends up being a positive. I didn't burn it at all.
What happened?
I covered the wood with a slack to it, so
Oh.
that basically seals the wood. And that I wasn't thinking.
I love it.
I slacked it and then put stain on it, and the stain could not adhere to the wood, so I had to sand it off, and it left this kind of varnished, like, burn look.
I kind of like it.
And I was like,
honestly.
huh, well, now I know how to burn wood without burning it. With total accident. So, like,
So it's varnish then?
well, I varnished it after. Like, I finished sanding
Okay.
off. Because not all the stain came off when I sanded it, because the sander gets, like, gunked up. Because it's, like, stain is pretty, like, gooey when it's trying to dry. Very
It is,
tacky.
Yeah.
And so it was kind of like, it was like gum. It was
It
like I was like
smells.
sanding gum off of wood. And I think I went through 2 sander pads, and I was like, honestly, I'm just going to keep it like that and just put a clear coat on it, and it's going to look
Word.
sick.
I like it.
So,
Did
Happy
you do that to the
mistakes.
other one too?
yeah, I
Oh,
did it to
okay.
both of them.
You're like, I
Word.
might as well.
Yeah.
So, like, yeah, just funny little things happen in your life. You learn from it, and you're like, I can put that in my toolbox now
Yeah.
as like a,
Beautiful chaos.
Yeah.
yeah.
Stay grounded in chaos.
Or you shouldn't always, you shouldn't
Right.
always see things that go wrong as a bad thing
Mhm.
when it happens.
Yeah, it could lead you in another direction.
Right.
So.
Who even
That's-
said that though? Like, that something that's happening is good or bad. Like, why
It-
can't we just look at it? It is what it is.
It is what
That's
it is.
that's my motto.
It is what it is.
I always say it is what it is.
Mhm.
Like even when I'm like bugging out and trying to like overanalyze, I always come back to,
It is what it is.
why am I wasting my energy? It is what it is.
Yeah,
Like,
well, how am I gonna fix this?
Yeah.
Now? Okay.
be like, literally, I have no way to control any aspect of what has happened already. So why am I wasting time trying to understand it?
Yeah.
Well, maybe
It's all how
it's
you
good to
handle
understand it, but not trying to like freak out and get anxiety about how you can fix it or change it because it already
Yeah.
happened.
Why like replay it in your head 1,000 times?
It just makes you like,
Yeah, you don't-
anxious. It's
Don't
just
do
like,
that to
"Ah."
yourself.
You get stressed out.
Yeah. It's hard to do that though. Like it's really hard to just let go. of-
Mindfulness.
Yeah.
Rollerblade-
Exactly.
Roller skate.
Yeah, you gotta just go,
Yeah.
or like what the mom did in the end of Midnight Gospel, and just like taught him how to like feel your hand
Yes.
underneath your skin, and he was like, "What does that mean?" But like you can like
That's
kind of
so
feel
true.
it, and it gave me like tingles. Or she's like, think about like your legs and your arms, and
I love that because it was like she was teaching him, but I'm sure probably 90% of the people watching that were doing it along with them.
yeah,
Yeah.
I was just like, because he was like, how am I supposed to feel my hand like underneath my skin? And I was asking myself like the same exact question.
Yeah.
And then she's like, nope, just let it go and like think. And then I could, and like I got like tingly, and I was like, oh my god, I like feel like it wash over.
And yeah,
Nice.
those we took a life coaching course about a year ago, and one of the mindfulness tactics to use when you're like experiencing anxiety or stress is it's called like the push through method, and I like to use that sometimes. And basically, you like close your eyes and you imagine yourself in like a building from the outside. So you're like, it's
Okay,
like
I'm gonna do it.
so it's almost like a dissociative feeling. So you see
Okay.
yourself standing on a floor of, say, a skyscraper. Above you, so you see the skeleton of the building. You see all the floors above you, all the floors below you. The floor you're on right now is the floor that's creating your stress, anxiety. That's where someone yelled at you, or you broke something, whatever it may be. And you just recite to yourself over and over, push through the floor. You're trying to push yourself, your physical body, through the floor to the next floor below it. You just keep reciting, push through, push down through, and you physically watch yourself push through the floor,
And-
and now you start to see that floor with the issue start going higher and higher away from you as you go lower
That's
and
really
lower
cool.
away from it. And just the process of telling yourself to push through and you're focusing on the leaving it, by the end, it's kind of like that, you're like, I forgot what I was even getting bugged out about.
Yeah, just to, like, refocus your brain, like, you have to do it. I don't know, like, I always was so confident in myself. Like, in high school and college, I, like, felt like I had a really good grasp on, like, who I was. And then afterwards, I don't know what happened, but it's like, when did I get so much anxiety? Like, do you ever feel anxious? Like, I do all the time, and it's like, I'm trying to, like, figure out how to let go of it, because, like, the truth of the matter is, like, this job it makes me feel very anxious at times, and sometimes it gives me complete, like, sense of calm. It just, like, when I'm alone and, like, working and, like, you know, restoring someone, I feel very calm. When I'm, like, running around, like, trying to make this family happy, like, I feel very stressed. But not, like, in a terrible way, but, like, when my dad would leave me for a weekend, just a weekend, like, not a big deal, I would get full-on physical stress and, like, you know, like, feeling knots in my stomach, like, feeling like I have to barf, like, just so much physical stress, and I was just like, I can't do this anymore, it's not healthy, and I had to find a way to, like, be mindful and just, like, let it go. Literally, like Elsa, like, let it go. It's too much, and I was like, if I can't handle a weekend, like, how am I going to run this business? Like, I need to find an outlet. And that, honestly, like, the pandemic has made it better. But, like, dreamland and finding, like, gardening and, like, all of these creative things give my mind peace. Like, sometimes you smoke a little weed. Like, that gives me peace. I don't really, like, drink too much unless I'm, like, you know,
like parties or whatever.
Parties or, like, go out on the town.
And I've noticed this theme with not like everyone, but a lot of people are, I mean, even myself, like, this artwork you're seeing, like, before the pandemic did not exist because I wasn't doing anything.
Yeah.
And now I've found a bunch of outlets, even disc golf, like, I just started doing that, and I think that there's a handful of people who have been taking the time to look inward and find these things.
It's been amazing to watch people come into their, like,
crazy.
true selves. Like, my Lord.
And
there's so many people from, like, Otro and Alto, or, like, from Alto Cinco, my friends, that have, like, gone down these different paths, and they're, like, you know, finding calm through other things and just, like, expanding their horizons, and it's just really cool to watch everyone like starting to be themselves.
It's like a skill building, skill / just, like, personal development journeys that a lot of people are going on. And then the flip side, there's just a ton of people trying to escape everything that's happening in like the worst way possible.
Yes. Oh my God, they are. And it's like,
and then they get COVID and they're like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
It's like,
and not even like rebelling against like wearing a mask or anything, but just completely running away from conflict, like, period. And that
people are afraid to be alone with themselves.
People are afraid to be alone. I get that. Like, it's a lot to be all by yourself all the time. But
if you can develop, like, peace when you're alone, then you're powerful.
Yeah, the confidence I have from just learning. I mean, because I was able to develop that skill before COVID ever happened. Mm-hmm. And I'll find myself where I'll be by myself for maybe a day or two and be like, I identify the urge to want to, like, I have to be with someone right now, like,
yeah.
And I get like halfway through a text where I'm like hitting up like 7 different people, seeing if they want to hang. And I'm like, do I really want to hang out with them, or is that just this weird urge that, like, I don't need to be with anyone right now?
Yeah.
And I just think more people need to identify that like
It's
it's
okay
okay
to be alone.
Yeah,
It's okay.
You don't need to have a girlfriend every time you break up with someone because
no,
you need to be with someone.
I love RuPaul, and I firmly believe in what they say. Like, if you can't love yourself, how the hell are you gonna love someone else? And I'm very much like, you do not need to like rush into a relationship. Like, work on yourself first. Like,
yeah, it's
be alone. Learn about yourself. Like, what are you about? What triggers you? Like,
it's beautiful too. Like, think about how much creativity or innovation or whatever it is, value brought into the world because people are actually being themselves.
Yep.
And bringing something new.
Yep.
Instead of
Unique.
all trying to be that. Yeah, that's the other, like, the ego side of, like, at least our society is this chase to be like someone instead of just trying to be like yourself.
Just be you.
Because it's like, okay, yes, that actor is cool and they have this cool persona that you are seeing in the public sphere, but it's like, who's to say that you're not just as cool or cooler?
Exactly.
You know, like your unique style of art or like how you skateboard or like whatever it is, like just find yourself in that, and people are gonna notice it when it's refined and like, you know.
Yep.
I think the biggest holdup with what you're talking about, why people don't go that path, is that they take life way too seriously, so it kind of like debilitates them to like want to be perfect or something, instead of maybe approaching it with like the sense of like, it's just for fun, like I'm just trying to create a character of myself.
Yeah, that's definitely how I feel. At least I approach life more recently. Like, coming out of college, I was very stressed about like, I need a job, I need to fit this mold, blah, 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 because I grew up in a family where, you know, that structure is very important to the older people, and I've gotten to a point where it's like, as long as I'm doing something I love or I'm passionate about, I'm not trying to chase after some like ideal self. I'm just being.
Seriously.
And I'm just learning things about myself along the way, and I'll become whoever I will become as time goes on.
You will.
I'm not going to like force it to become myself to become something.
Yes, exactly. Because you won't find happiness in that, like, at all.
Or you'll just be like, you'll just end up setting expectations that never get met, and you'll just let yourself down all the time.
Yeah, and it's like, I used to get hung up with people being like, just like, what do you do for a living? And
it's superficial.
I hated it so much. And even like now, I'm like, everyone is just, after this pandemic, it's like everyone is essential. Why are we putting so much pressure on each other? Like, we need each other for every little thing. Like, you know, I need this person to do their job and this person to do their job so I can do my job, and it's like all a little ecosystem, and we're all important.
Yeah.
And we should all be paid more, and
at least
all
enough
that
to
jazz.
survive.
Yeah, like we should be paid. Get the health care. Like, come on. This is not rocket science here.
I think
we're not in the Middle Ages.
Make people feel valued.
It's definitely gonna happen. Hard. It's just
they're working.
It's not a matter of if it's gonna happen. It's more when. And I think it's just, unfortunately, like, our government is just predominantly run by people who are about to die in the next 10 years.
Well, they can hurry up.
Yeah, I mean, like, some of them have definitely done some really great things, but some of them have done some not so great things, and it's like we're being I guess directed by a mindset that is very unrelatable to the majority of the people that live in this country. And I think that's where that divisiveness has come from, because we don't understand their mindset at all.
Yeah.
You're just
Why are you?
What is this? I'm like, I can't get behind it. Either side of it. You know, I'm just like, ugh.
That's like a big thing that, like, with religion too, like, a big reason why I don't want to really be a part of, like, the Catholic Church is because it's just the people that practice it. Not everyone, I don't want to generalize, but like it's so hypocritical, and it's like you support this person, but he's a piece of shit and like who treats people like shit and talks so much shit. It's just like you would never let this person like be your friend like in your life, so why do you support him? Like, I don't know.
You're referring to Trump, right?
Huh?
Are you referring to Trump?
Oh yeah,
okay.
I can't say his name. He's
like saying Voldemort.
He is literally Voldemort.
Well, yeah, that's very interesting that like religious communities seem to be like
those are.
I'm like, he's like
love thy neighbor, but speak English. Like,
yeah.
No.
I'm like
Jesus didn't speak English.
Also, Jesus wasn't a pedophile.
Yeah. Also that. It's like. Oh.
Like. And like committed adultery like several times. Like there's just so many things.
You're just washing Mary Magdalene out of his life like she was a hoe, but like maybe they just really loved each other and she was like a burlesque dancer or something. Like I don't know, or maybe she
like
wasn't even anything and
yeah.
she was just like a woman and.
Yeah, it is very interesting that aspect of things. There's a lot of hypocrisy that happens, and people are so blinded to their own hypocrisy.
Love thy neighbor, but let's not take care of thy neighbor at all. Like let's just drives me. Yeah, but let's put a wall and cage them at the same time. Right. It's just like, where is the rationality here? I do not know.
I do want to understand like where they're coming from.
I'm trying so hard.
It's insecurity. Like they feel inferior. Like they feel like some bad omen is gonna like rip their whole life apart or something. That's what it seems like.
Like what do you think we're gonna do? Like I don't know.
Well, that's another thing too. I think we need to send compassion to that because it's like if they're coming out of a place of fear.
Yeah.
It's the same thing with us. Like if we feel like our house is gonna get burned down, we're gonna fight back.
Yeah.
So that's maybe what place.
Well, I think it's from. That a handful of people, because I again don't want to generalize. Handful of people subscribed to several different people of power that have these mindsets, and they just drink their Kool-Aid.
Yeah.
And they're now like fully convinced of every conviction that person has, whether or not that person even believes the shit they're saying, but those people are believing it, and they're just like spewing the same like talking points and everything.
Like literally.
I'm
and
like, are you Trump? Or
how could you even gather talking points from this speech? Like it's all over the place and he isn't making complete sentences. Like what?
Yeah, it's like they're so deep in it that it's gonna take him like disappearing, dying, whatever, for them to like come back to fucking reality.
He is a cockroach. Like I don't know if he'll ever die. Like is he a vampire?
I'm gonna throw a goddamn party when that man ceases to exist.
Ooh, I keep saying like if he's elected out of office, I can't even. I'm not going to worry about it. But if that does actually happen, I'm going to make a piñata for November 4th and or for the election.
Will it be his face?
It'll be his face. It's going to be filled with Cheetos. And I just want to go out in the backyard and friggin' just destroy it. I'll do that even if he wins, though.
Yeah, might as well.
I'm gonna need it.
It's like Napoleon Dynamite where they hit Summer's face as a piñata.
Yeah.
They're like, Pedro, I don't know what you do down there in Juarez, but we don't hit our opponent's faces in. But in this case, I will.
Yeah. He sucks. But anywho,
there's still hope though, even though that's what's so great about everything.
Yeah.
Even with that, there's still like
there's hope. We're all gonna die, and he will die eventually.
Yeah, that should be the real conversation. Let's talk about the death of that man.
I was actually watching a Jordan Peterson video, and he was talking about Trump, and he was actually saying how he was, like, intelligent in a way. Granted, this is very controversial, but he's intelligent in the way that he appeals to the crowd, and he brought out that, like, subconscious from them.
I mean...
So he's just a talking head.
If anything, he might not even be as shitty as some of the other people that subscribe. If anything, it might have just brought shitty people out of the woodwork.
He's crazy. You know, it's really difficult, too, because this is so stupid. We have the same birthday.
Oh.
How can we have the same birthday and be so extremely different on so many levels?
What's the astrological sign? Gemini.
Gemini.
See, that's the thing. I know some really great Geminis, and I also know some really shitty Geminis.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, and that's the thing is, like, there's just shitty people everywhere, but I was, like, shook. Like, I hate this man so much. I hate this man so much. And then I was like, what the hell? Like, we share the same birthday? I was like, no. So then it was, like, my life mission to prove that I'm, like, not, like in any way like this man.
That's the one with, like, the two faces, right?
Yeah, that's the sign of the Gemini.
Yeah, we're the talkers, the communicators. I have to be honest.
Yin and yang kind of, like, two-sided, or is it, like, it's controversial, kind of?
I think it could be controversial, but it's
kind of like
for me, I like to see two sides to every story, and, like, I'm very, like, my moon is I'm a Libra moon, so, like, you know, the scales and stuff like
that part also takes a factor too.
It's like balance
in, like, the breakdown. But I would say some Geminis, like the ones that are deemed kind of on the not so friendly side, like him, it's kind of more of like a Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde type two-faced thing.
Yeah, so
and that's what I feel like Trump is, that person, because to a lot of people that are close to him, they're always like, I never thought he was this kind of person. He's all friendly and, like, buddy-buddy with everyone, but then, like, he's out there just spewing, like, hate shit at everyone.
Yeah. So, again, he's appealing to the crowd. So that's the thing. It's, like, it's not really him that's the bad person. Like, maybe it's, like, all the people that voted for... not a bad person, but, like, he's a reflection of what our society is right now and how divided we are. So like, divided. There's so much, like, misunderstanding, I feel like. Yeah.
Okay, so based on where you're at in the whole funeral game, or just life, doesn't have to even be about the funeral home, where do you, like, ideally want to see yourself in the next, like, 5 years? Like, what parts of your life are you trying to develop or change, or
I hope that
whatever?
I can become more relaxed in the business. I hope that I have confidence to do the things that scare me the most, like stupid funeral processions and stuff like that. Like, I just hope that I can overcome these stupid little fears, and the main goal is to keep being myself and not get like desensitized to any of this. Genuinely, that's like what I really just don't want to get desensitized, and I want to keep like being able to listen to people and like really listen to them. You know, people can ramble, so, like, when you're at calling hours and someone's just, like, talking to you and you're, like, worried about, like, something else, and you're, like, looking over there and they're, like, telling you, like, all these important things, and I'm just, like, not listening. I want to be better about doing that. It's just, like, little, like, things I want to work on in 5 years, because I had a 5-year plan when I got out of college, and it just was like not the plan. So we're just focusing on small things. But
we haven't really talked about you and your husband that much, but like, do you have like any plans with a family and all that kind of stuff?
I want to have kids while I'm still like young and energetic, so like that's something that I'm going to be considering like soon, but I'm also scared because I'm, control, like whatever. I won't be able to embalm or like do most of that stuff. I can do restorative stuff, but I definitely won't be embalming, so I'm not quite ready to like let that go yet. But yeah, we want to have kids, and like the plan is that whenever my dad feels ready to like move out of the funeral home, like we'll be moving in there, and then I can like, it's just easier with like kids and stuff, and to be able to focus on that and just like kind of like doing the same thing my dad did, and just But I think it's going to be different because I'm not going to be in there in 5 years for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, like, for sure. Who knows? Like, maybe I will.
Yeah, true.
Yeah. But
that's always funny. Whenever I ask the 5-year thing, I'm like, how many people's 5-year plans actually like come to fruition in the way that they imagined it would?
Yeah. I figured like when I graduated from college, I figured like maybe I would be like, married around 5 years and stuff, and like who really knew? It was like a little bit longer than that, but I did like accomplish some things that were like on my list, but yeah. I'm excited to like move in the funeral home, but it's such a beast. It's such a beast. So expensive and a lot of work. Like we're getting a new roof,
Whoa.
like within a month, or I mean we're gonna be starting it and stuff, and that really needs to happen. But it's just like restoring a 128-year-old like house or whatever it is. It's a lot.
Yeah. Definitely.
It's a lot.
Because you want to replace it in a way where you're not like changing the complete like look of the place.
Yeah.
And that's the difficult part.
Yeah.
I think that's a big thing with like any of these houses that need work in this area, is that the way we build houses or structures now is just not the same.
It's just not.
We don't have the artisans that we had before. That
not as much character. It's just like everything
things.
looks like Ashley Home.
It looks like it's out of a
Furniture
freaking
Store.
catalog.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm not into it.
That's. I feel like I kind of did that with like my furniture a little bit. It
No.
just got like the just very modern look, but.
Are you kidding me? This.
Okay, the loft doesn't count.
No,
but
but like your
the
whole like
tables and
vibe
stuff.
here is not like Ashley Home Furniture Store. Like this is very cool.
It's
I don't
literally
know.
just the furniture, maybe.
Yeah.
Like this is a great coffee table.
Or literally just the couch.
Well, I
That's
guess
it.
it's like the everything in my house is white.
Yeah.
Everything is like a
Shiplap.
gray or like teal color,
Yeah.
and I only use those colors in my entire house.
Yep.
And it's just kind of like tacky things on the wall.
Yeah.
Where you're like, do you actually like that art, or is it just like it fits the color scheme?
Yeah. Like little sayings, word art.
Yeah.
Um,
That's why I'm just gonna make
Shiplap.
absurd stuff.
Blech.
Yeah.
no way.
I hear that word all the time on. My parents watch HGTV.
Yeah.
Joanna.
Yeah.
Chip and Joanna Gaines.
Yeah.
I don't even know what it is.
It's just like the boarding, the wood boardings, like just, horizontal.
Is that traditional style?
I don't know where it came
I need to
from.
look up
I like-
shiplap.
Like a
What is
farmhouse
that?
kind of look.
Yeah, I think they like take it from, some people take it from like reclaimed like barnwood and stuff. I don't know. It's like Chip or
Oh,
Joanna's
yeah, I
thing.
get it. It's like just the boarded wall like
Oh, okay. Yeah.
images.
Shit.
Yeah, just like it looks like refurbished wood on
Yeah.
the wall, but it's really just not. Or they put like wallpaper up that
Mm-hmm.
looks like it.
Yeah. Yeah, and even like the crappy kind of material that they can make like faux shiplap out of is like, I'm not into it. I'm more like, I want quality.
I want real bricks in my
Hey.
You
Yes.
know?
Yeah.
And real wood shiplap floors.
It's such a cool space. I love the gear factory.
I'm very much like gonna be. I don't know if I'll ever live in a building of this character again. Like I don't like. There's no way to know.
Yeah.
But it's like, it's crazy that I sit in this room or any of the rooms here and just think, what was happening on this floor in this space like 100 years ago when this was a factory?
Exactly.
You're just like, there was probably a big machine hanging out here.
Figure it out. What
you know?
happened? Go to Onondaga Historical
Well,
Association.
what I do know about this building is that at one point it was the largest manufacturer of car parts in the entire North America.
Huh.
And Henry Ford.
Oh yeah, gear factory.
Yeah,
Okay,
Henry
makes
Ford
sense.
actually used to work out of this factory from time to time.
See?
And it's like famous people have been in this building and
He
like
probably
been doing
was right
shit.
here.
Like he might have actually stood in this
He
very
probably
spot at
did.
one point.
He probably did. The best thing that Rick did though is do these windows.
The windows.
Oh my
fantastic.
god! I remember when they were putting them in.
Mm-hmm.
So cool.
It changes like it. That's what I mean when I say like this building is the gem of this side, because you're just driving up on it during like the later hours of the evening where it's like sunset and the way the sun is reflecting off the building. It looks like the whole side of the building is glass. It's not just like, you know.
So nice.
And that's why I hope that the person who owns the building attached to this and adjacent to it get renovated in a similar fashion, at least from the exterior.
Yeah.
Because it would just completely facelift this whole like corner.
Yep. I love that they build with Panchitos and stuff.
Yeah.
And
it's just little things like that. And
the little car, like, I don't know what they're doing on the corner, but I know that they, like, fixed it up and they're, like, working on cars or something.
Yeah.
It's just, it's cool. Like, I want Geddes to...
Revitalize kind of thing?
Yeah, I just want people to not be afraid of it and, like...
Yeah.
I don't know.
And I get, like,
I'm not afraid, but...
I understand, like, where people come from with that mindset, but it's like, one, you don't live here, so you don't really know what it's like.
Yeah,
you hear things in the
don't.
news that just gets, like,
Yep.
blown out of proportion. It's like, okay, that was an isolated incident where that happened that one day, and unfortunately that does happen, but I live here, and I can tell you that I never feel unsafe, like, around in this area.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you just it's just like a naive mindset I think a lot of people have.
Yeah.
And that just comes with listening to the news and not actually being in the environment.
Yep,
so
they gotta get out of the mindset.
it's like, okay, of course all the people who live out in the suburbs hear about shootings and stuff and think, oh, that's a really sketchy place, and it's like, it's not really that sketchy. Like,
meanwhile, there's things happening in suburbia, so it's just like...
Meanwhile, people have,
don't.
like, dead bodies in the basement because they're, like, a serial killer out in the middle
Dude,
of suburbia,
but there
you know?
was. There was, like, out, like, in Jamesville or something. There was, like, a guy that had people in his basement. Or maybe I'm just making that up. There was somebody, though, that was, like...
Can happen anywhere.
Had people in
That's
the
the moral of the
basement.
story.
And it's just like,
Really?
okay, so what's more sketchy? That happening in a very, like, white picket fence neighborhood where no one thinks anything's bad? Or, you know, this? It's, what's worse than the other? There's ups and downs everywhere.
Yeah.
You know?
And the media shapes our minds, too.
It
so they might
does.
not highlight the white picket fence.
And I think that is really... it's funny that we got in this conversation, but, like, back to the whole, like, Syracuse thing. I guess this is in general, is that we hear these bad things in the news, and then that shapes, like, how everyone interprets these things. Whoa, first of all, no. No. So like, the media shapes, you know, the greater mind on, like, a certain area, for example, the west side of Syracuse. Mm-hmm. And in turn, it just makes everyone say, this place is a shithole, all this bad, negative talk, and then what happens? Nothing gets revitalized because no one wants to step foot in here. and we need to stop talking about it.
Put
in
your
a
money where
shitty
your
way.
mouth is.
Yeah, it's like if it's so shitty, then come here and help make it better. Like,
yeah, these
like-
landlords also. It's like they need to physically be here. I don't know. Like,
yeah. Well, it's
Yeah,
like I
true.
think
They
local
don't
people,
care.
local people should be buying the houses that
Yes.
need to get fixed, and be the landlords and actually treat their tenants correctly and treat the houses correctly. Like, not these half-ass like let's just get it up to code, but not actually like
Yeah.
renovate the fucking house.
Cause like behind Sacred Heart Basilica, or like you go down any of these side street, beautiful houses, they're starting to like their roofs are starting to get a little wonky and stuff. It's like, come on, let's fix this stuff. Take care of your property, and don't make these people live in shitholes. I
Yeah.
don't even know, like,
Because I think that, I mean, I don't think
worry
that
about us.
I don't.
Like,
I don't think
worry
that like just fixing the houses can change like
Oh,
the street environment side. But at least like over time, people will feel better about themselves. Like, I do think that street mentality kind of does just come from living in the less desirable places. You know, when redlining and all that shit was happening,
Yep.
which it probably still kind of happens, where they just kind of
white
force
flight.
you into the shit areas where no one gives a fuck about the house. It's like, let's just fix the houses. Like, why can't you just fix the house?
Yeah, if you're a landlord, like there's people from like downstate that own properties, you know, and it's like they just don't care. Like around, you know, like downtown by like Maurice's Fortress of Beauty, and like where the over by Pastas and stuff. There's just like a guy from downstate that owns like a slew of properties, and he's closing, like he raised the rent, can't do it, like, so we're gonna close down your business. And it's just like, it sucks to
Like,
see that.
why are you like?
It's like, just take care.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Like, keep the community like thriving. Don't like
We
run
don't
everyone
need
out
these
of town.
Downstaters, like, just keep it in the community. I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, that's the capitalistic system.
Yeah.
You know?
That's
It's a hot mess.
yeah. There's a lot of hot mess going on.
We got a lot of work to do, guys.
But there's definitely a good. I see a positive trend slowly starting to germinate here, and
Our generation, like, a lot of us are people, you know, people say we don't really desire houses and stuff, but yet, like, so many of my friends have gotten houses, like, in the past, like, couple of years.
Well, I think it's hard too if you have like huge student loan debt.
Yeah.
You know.
well,
I know. Well, yeah, I know, and they like they don't understand, but
yeah, our situation. Well, I shouldn't say everyone's, but a lot of
yeah,
people our age in
Have
our
to pay
age
for their
group have a lot of circumstances that our parents never even thought to have, and they don't factor that in when they say these very blanket statements that you are all ungrateful or this, that, or the other thing.
You're
It's
all,
like, dude, half these people are depressed as fuck because they might never be out of debt. Ever. How do you think you would feel?
Yep.
Just like an elephant sitting on your head for the rest of your life.
And at the same time, it's like you're in debt and you can't get a job with the thing that put you in debt.
Yeah.
Because you got like a liberal arts degree. That
Yeah.
Isn't,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Isn't
That's
like
why I think, like,
specialized enough.
It's probably
Yeah.
not a bad idea, like, you know, take a year off from college, like, honestly, or take a year off after high school, honestly, like, why are we such in a rush to, like, make this snap decision on, like, what we want to go to school for?
Why are we forcing
But that's a
immature
system, too,
18-year-olds to
that
make
Right.
very life-changing decisions?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then getting mad at them if they don't know what they want. Like, I'm not saying all parents do
It's
that,
just
but some
way
parents are like, you better have, like, applied to colleges and get into one. Or
Yeah. And
this,
I'm
that, or the
so,
other.
like,
It's just to make them feel better, not
Yeah.
the kid.
yeah, let them get
It's like,
out
whose
into
life
the
is
real
this?
world,
Yeah.
maybe for, like, a year, or even two, like, there's people that go back to school when they're, you know, a little bit older, and there's nothing wrong with that. I think it's okay to, like, stop putting so much pressure on people and, like, let them create boundaries. First of all, don't let them just, like, slack off and, like, you know, like, be a bum in your house, like, all day, every day, doing nothing. But, like, you know, let them get out in the real world. Let them, like, have a job and know that they hate this, like, retail job and, like, I wanted to, like, do this or something, and let them explore.
Yeah, I have a friend from high school. She didn't go to college, and she was, like, you know, in the top, like, 30. I don't know specifically which, like, number she was, but, like, top 30 in terms of, like, grade point average. She's, like, a very bright person, and she didn't go to college after graduation. It was kind of, like, a surprise to a lot of us, because, I mean, like, it's just that norm. Like,
Group thing.
Yeah.
And she didn't go to college, and she actually, when she graduated, her parents decided to move to North Carolina, and she went with them. And she, like, decided she was going to take this year off and just kind of, like, figure out what she wanted to do. She didn't know what she wanted to do. She felt like going to college was probably, like, not the best choice at the moment. And in that time, she started to do woodworking and, like, making signs and stuff for people. And that quickly became a, like, it went from hobby to business to I don't need to go to college because I'm making way more than I ever would have expected to make than I would have if I got a degree.
That's amazing.
And she's just, like, killing it now. And she's, like, 10,000 plus followers on Instagram. She's just, like, got mad commissions going all the time. And I'm like, perfect example of you don't need to go to college. Like, give people some time to figure out who they are.
Literally.
You're stuck in a school from age 5 until you're 18. Who has time to find out, like, anything about themselves when they're stuck in an institution all day?
Yeah.
You know?
And like, now, like, even these poor schools, like, just in general, like, they're taking away all these, like, creative outlets for kids, and it's like, when can their mind wander? Because you go home and you know, get pressure from your parents to, like, complete your homework, and then you maybe have, like, an hour to just, like, decompress before you have to
do it again,
go to bed and do it all over again for, like, the rest of your life.
I think we're moving towards a generation, though, where people are living life more as, like, an art form, or at least have the opportunity to.
Like Renaissance.
Yeah.
Or something.
An enlightenment period.
Yeah.
Well,
but it is.
But these cycles happen all the time, and I think it's that, like, the one we're shifting into. We talk a lot about it, but it's that, like, the shift in technology and, like, how that's going to affect the job market and, like, the society at large, and how.
Well, education specifically, you could learn anything you would ever want right on the internet at the safety of your home. You don't need to go to college. But if you do want to go to college, then at least maybe you'll have the time to figure out, personally develop.
Yeah.
If there is a career that requires you to go get your education, then you could use that as a tool instead of using the education to burden you.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that was a thing. I was talking about this the other day. There's just so many kids who go to college for the experience. And it's like, that's the most expensive experience you'll ever have.
Yeah.
Unless you're, like, a millionaire and you're buying $1 million properties and stuff. That would also be a very expensive experience. But it's like, at that point in your life, that's going to be hands down not even close to anything else in terms of how expensive it is. And you are...
But you don't realize that when you're like, young and stupid.
Yeah, and
like,
you're not even getting, like, those people aren't getting the value for their dollar because they're spending it doing things that I don't need to go to college to go to house parties and stuff. Like, anybody could do that. If anything, I could be working a job and be making more money than you because you spent $80,000+ for that 4 years drinking and stuff, and then what do you have to show for? You didn't do an internship in the 4 years? Great. Well, you're not going to get a job without any experience, so good luck.
Yeah.
You know? Meanwhile, this guy didn't go to college, and he, like, someone I worked with at my soon-to-be not my job, he didn't go to college and he got a job with a digital marketing agency. He got his foot in the door, and now he's working for a lacrosse company doing their marketing, and he's like working his dream job.
That's amazing.
It's like, dude, that kid won. He won the lottery. He didn't go to school, and he's doing something he really loves, and he's making like.
It's rare. It's really rare.
It can happen.
It can happen though if you're persistent and
That's the thing. You have to work hard as hell.
You have to work at it. You can't just like sit there and do.
It's definitely not like gonna happen for everyone, but I also think that it's more likely to happen for people if this notion of you need to go to college or you're gonna just fail at life.
I don't even think it's like about it's not an argument about whether you should go to college or not. It's just you should figure yourself out, and if you can use school education to be more authentic for yourself, then do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ultimately. Because that's another thing, like, if we get in this mindset of saying, oh, don't go to college, then another group think where people are just not going to go to college, but it's not fixing the root of the problem, which is you have to figure yourself out at the end of the day.
Yeah, you can't just...
It should just not be a thing that's, like, expected of everyone. That, like...
If it's not right for you, it's not right for you.
It's just like throughout high school, it's like everything seemingly is building you to go to college. Like they talk about college prep and this, that, the other thing. And it should be more just like, we're just getting you ready for the world. And like it doesn't matter if you go to college, trade school, fucking art school, like whatever. Not even go to school. Become a lumberjack out in the middle of the freaking forest. Like I don't know.
That would be really
just
cool.
like anything. Like
go make yourself a little log cabin and be a lumberjack. That sounds like
I just feel like they force you to take they force you to take these specific subjects that half of them are non-applicable to like anything you're ever gonna do,
and like the history is all wrong anyways. So
and they're teaching you
it's outdated.
They're teaching you history that's not true.
It's not true,
or it's skewed.
Yep.
And it's like maybe we should have half of the time that you're in grade school spent towards just self-development things.
Yeah,
like,
it's like Montessori.
It's like here's a room with woodworking equipment and paint supplies and like a computer that you can edit music on and a podcast studio. Like try it all. You're gonna find something you like, you know?
Yeah.
There's a garden over there. Go try some gardening.
Wasn't there a garden on the top of this?
It's a green roof. So it's not like we were actually trying to build out a more planned out gardening space, but
like
it's all planted by birds.
What?
Yeah,
that's cute.
All of the plants up there were just dropped by birds.
Really? Oh, that's so sweet. That's adorable.
You want to go up there?
I would love to go up there. I haven't
let's wrap this up.
Yeah.
We gotta get it before the sun rises.
Yeah, we're gonna go.
It's like the opportune time. Yeah. So.
Oh my God. Yeah, I went up there before this was ever apartments. I think it was in like 2014, and they like wanted to make it a green roof, and then it never went up there again.
So there was no plants up there?
There was nothing up there, yeah.
Yeah, so what they did is they put like a new... They basically like replaced the top sheets of the roof, and then there's like a layer of... It's like this thermal stuff, and then drainage, because the reason they did the green roof is not really for the plant side, it's more for the water, saving the water. It's for the project's called Save the Rain.
Yeah.
And
cool.
I forget, I could find the numbers again, but it's like an absurd amount of water that is saved because, one, this building is a very big surface area, so all the rainwater that lands on the top gets funneled down into a like drainage system that we save so much water by doing it. And so God. Like the idea is like more green roofs because this was the second green roof in Syracuse, so there's like 8 or 9 now.
I know Mello wants to kind of make their roof like a green roof or like when they first were opening up the new location, I know they like wanted to maybe like make a garden or something on the top of there, and I just think that would be so cool.
Yeah, I mean, it's great.
Could just get all their herbs and stuff from there.
Yeah. Well, yeah, cool. So, first of all, like, thank you so much for,
thank you for having me.
Coming on the show. If you want, just like tell everyone where they can find you on the socials.
Yeah, you can find me on TikTok. I'm Hollis Fun Home. And then you can find me on Instagram, Hollis Funeral Home. And that's it.
Cool.
Yeah.
So we end our podcast with a question.
Yeah.
I'm sure you've heard if you've listened to our episodes.
Wait, before that question, I want to ask a different question.
Plot twist.
Okay, ask away.
So, since the biggest theme of this podcast was talking about death, one thing, like on the flip side of that question is, what does it mean to live to you?
What does it mean to live? I think it's all about community, like finding your community to help you find yourself, and just taking the time to like look around and like see the life everywhere. God, that sounds so hippy-dippy, but like really, like when you're out gardening and you notice like the tiniest little bug, and just like my sister is gonna be having a baby this week, so I like just think about all of the things that they're gonna accomplish in their life, and it's just like all one big circle. So I don't really know what the meaning of life is. I'm just a human here, like trying to figure it out. But
so now
which ties us to the last question.
So now that we've touched a little bit on some themes about living, what does it mean to you to be human?
Oh, Jesus. What does it mean to me to be human? I guess just impermanence, like, honestly, really, like, that everything is temporary. I'm temporary. I'm not going to be here. Maybe nobody will remember me, so just live your life and have a good time, and, you know, try and open your mind and, like, be understanding of others. Just be a good person. I don't know.
I don't think there's a right or wrong answer.
Yeah.
So.
I don't know. Just, yeah.
Do you have any last things to tell the peeps before we sign off here?
I'm sorry if I offended you. I feel like so many people are like on the edge about it. But if I did offend anyone, I'm really sorry. But I hope you gained some insight from it, and death is not that scary. It's just, you know, hiding from it makes it scary. And yeah, that's it.
Cool.
Over
All right.
and out.
3,
Go
2,
see the-
1.
So there you have it. Thanks again for tuning in to BINDLISM, a philosophy to self-sufficient lifestyle. Be sure to explore other episodes of BINDLISM on our Spotify and Apple podcast. You can find more Boho Hobo stuff on Instagram and Twitter at Boho_Hobo_, as well as on our Facebook page at Boho Hobo Lifestyle. It'd also be dope if you could subscribe to our YouTube channel as well. Our YouTube channel has more episodes from BINDLISM in video form, along with other random shenanigans that we're up to. We're constantly filming new experiences, so it's one way you guys can stay up to date with us in our journey. So yeah, I guess that's it for now. Until next time, peace.